Okay, hello and welcome. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm doing pretty good, though it was rather warm today. It's cooler now. It's like 23 or something now. Yeah, 22, apparently. Hello, welcome. So, we've done Discworld, the first adventure game. I'm not including what was that, Commodore 64 game here? The Color of Magic. Released for the ZX Spectrum, Amstrad CPC, and Commodore 64. I'm not including that in this lineup. I didn't even know it existed until I had read about it a few weeks ago. Anyway, so we're done Discworld, the first adventure game done in 95. We've done Discworld 2, Missing Presumed, or Mortality Bites, as it was known in North America, which was in 97, I think. So there's only one other Discworld video game to do, and I feel like playing some more, so we'll move on to that. This is Discworld Noir, which I've known about, like Mortality Bites, no, like Missing Presumed. Let me use the original title for the game. I know basically nothing about this game. I remember, I think it being mentioned a bit in the computer magazines, which I would get and read at the time. But when it came out, I was not reading Discworld. So that was something which happened in 2001 when I went to high school. So 1999, yeah. I don't think we even had any of them at primary school. So yeah. This one is I've done enough that it seems like it works. This one is sort of a mix of the 3D with the pre-rendered backgrounds. Kind of like Escape from Monkey Island, or, thinking about it, more like Grim Fandango, especially with its noir, what do you call it? Inspired style it has going on. It'll be interesting to see how they do things in it, considering that, because Noir and Discworld is not really something which I would think about in joining together, but I'd be interested in seeing how they do things. I believe it also has more of an original story, which will be nice. So yeah, finishing a thought from just before, I hope this works all right. It took a little bit of going to get it working, and as I have misplaced my CDs, having to use some other ways to get around that. So I hope we don't run into any problems if I need to swap CDs around. I shouldn't, but I guess we'll deal with that issue when it comes up. It's not something I can test beforehand because I don't want to play the game. So let's load that up. I might have to turn the music down a little bit. Made by the same company, TWG, and yeah, let me turn that down. There we go. TWG and Perfect Entertainment. So we'll keep the volume, the voices up, turn the music down, because I watched the intro cutscene, and I have to say the dialogue in this I'm quite a fan of. It's pretty well written, so we'll get to enjoy excessively noir styled writing. We play as this guy. I forget what his name is. Private Eye Detector. We'll learn soon enough. Let's see. I might turn the volume down a little bit more. I've got the subtitles on again. Okay. Rorschach. I'd imagine the game would be quite short if it was that good. We've got a cutscene here. I'll try to read this. Everyone on the disc knows the legend of Eleanor of Sort, or at least everyone knows a legend of Eleanor of Sort, or critics, or El Harib. ask most people and they'll tell you that she was the cause of the Zortian Wars. Of course, ask most people and they'll tell you the patrician is a kind of benevolent man. Never trust what most people tell you. The real cause of the Zortian Wars was a little-known goddess called Arata. It was at the wedding of Peloria and Theta, or Pyramus and Phribus, or Orpheus and Euripides. It really depends on who you talk to, really. Suffice to say, this is going far too fast and I cannot actually keep up with it. Holy crap. I knew I'd have problems with this. The resulting fight between almost 80 war gods would have had ruined the wedding, had Neodeon not inadvertently engraved, blah 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 blah. Batteries not included. It became so heated, Astoria, goddess of love, bribed Rome of Sword, or Eve, or no fixed abode, to steal the Falchion and hide it, just to shut her sister up. In return, Astoria gave Eleanor to Rome, even though she wasn't hers to give, which was typical of the gods, and the resulting extramarital confusion blew up into the Zortian Wars. The Cardinals that followed the Zortian Falcon was perhaps lost, perhaps forever. Oi! There's a Falchion, a type of sword. It has gone missing because of God's shenanigans, is what I gather. Yeah, they look like that. Under a killing moon? No, wait, hang on. Deja vu, no?
I've had some bad days
blood.
since I started work as a private investigator. But I'd never woken up dead before. It all started the week before, on a cold and wet Sectober day in Ankh-Morpork, the oldest and most depraved of all the cities on the Discworld. But hey, you've got to love it.
I like the voice actor they've got for the guy. Does a good job.
I'd been working as a PI for a little over a month, and business was slow. Hiring an investigator to look into your business requires trust, and the amount of trust in Ankh-Morpork wouldn't fill a cup. And it's a small cup I'm talking about. Sure, people trust that you don't get on the wrong side of the patrician. People trust that you don't walk into the shades alone. People trust that the Assassin's Guild will fulfill their contracts or double your money back. Yeah, people even trust death. Just don't ask them to trust their mothers.
Mr. Lewton?
If I'm not, I should fire the guy who painted the door.
So this is what a private investigator looks like. I expected someone more heroic.
Heroism costs extra. What can I do for you, Miss...
Mrs., actually. And the name is Carlotta.
Okay, Mrs. Actually. Carlotta it is. What's a girl like you doing out on a night like this?
I want to hire you, Mr. Lewton.
Please, call me Lewton. Mr. sounds so formal.
How much do you charge for a simple investigation?
I don't know. I've never had a simple investigation. A tricky one is 20 a day.
I'll give you 200 in advance, plus expenses.
For 200, I guess I should treat you with some respect.
Oh, I wouldn't ask a guy like you to attempt the impossible.
What's the case?
I want you to find a man named Mundy.
Why do you want to find Mundy?
Do you know him?
No. And this case will go a lot faster if you let me ask the questions.
You like to be in control, don't you, Lewton?
If you don't pull the strings, then you're the puppet. Tell me about you and Mundy.
I've been a lonely woman, Lewton.
You amaze me.
You'd be surprised.
Shocked, maybe, but not surprised.
Mundy is my lover, Lewton. Or used to be. He's been away for a while, over in Sort. He came back to Ankh-Morpork a couple of days ago on the Milka, but he didn't come to see me. I think he may be having an affair. You're wondering whether my husband knows about it.
Actually, I was wondering when you were going to give me the money.
My husband passed away several years ago.
I hope the poor guy was smiling at the time. Is there anything you can tell me about Mundy that might help me find him?
He's got blue eyes, brown hair, and a black heart. You'd like him.
Has he got any friends in Ankh-Morpork?
Does anyone?
How tall is he?
I don't know. I don't picture him standing up.
What was Mundy's business in Sort?
I don't know. I never asked about his work, and he never told me.
Must be a very straightforward relationship.
As simple as they come.
Where can I find the ship he came in on?
Down at the wharf.
Have you been there yourself?
I avoid places like that. Women and seamen.
Forget I asked. This is a bad neighborhood for you to come into alone, Carlotta.
I can take care of myself.
I believe you.
Good. Trust is important.
I said I believed you. I never said I trusted you.
Don't you like me, Lewton?
I like a lot of things. I like dogs, but I wouldn't trust one not to bite me.
I won't bite.
Shame. I haven't been bitten in a long while. I'd better get started on your case. Where can I contact you?
I'll be in touch. Be seeing you, Lewton.
I hoped I would see her again, because she still hadn't paid me. Still, it wasn't every day that a beautiful woman offered me a case. Frankly, it wasn't often that anybody offered me a case. And 200 would certainly help pay the rent, if I had anything left over from my bar bill.
Okay. And I hope you see the way that was written. To me, it's fantastic. Anyway, okay, saving seems fine. Hello, welcome. It's so noir. You're about to be sick. Yeah, it's like I wonder whether they crimped the dialogue from some other movies. I haven't seen too many film noir, but it's it does a good job. At least it's to excess. Hello, welcome, Wex. Also, welcome, Picrofo. Let's see, we got a desk.
Sapient pearwood comes from a plant so magical that it is totally impervious to all forms of magic, and so valuable that thieves have cut each other's throats to own it. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford a desk made out of it, so I made do with pine. It's a nice desk, though.
I see it wobbles a little bit. Is that... Oh, no, that's just one of the feet.
I could hardly carry the desk around, even if I wanted to.
The audio quality for the lines is maybe a little bit low. It sounds like they were using speakers at home. Microphones at home or something. Some of the dialogue seemed a bit cut and spliced as well, but... Oh, well. Can we look at ourselves? No. Filing cabinet.
I had purchased a large indexed scroll rack to keep track of all the cases I was going to handle. The Mundy case made it 2.
So he just decided one day he was going to be a PI in Ankh-Morpork. Okay.
A lot of strange things had happened to me since becoming a private investigator. But the weirdest was the irrepressible sensation that the most important thing for me to own as a PI was a door with my name painted on the glass. Some mysteries are best left unsolved, I guess.
Yeah. Noir linked into the Discworld is what I'm gathering. Oh, a coffee machine.
I'd purchased the imp-powered coffee bean machine from Cut-Me-Own-Throat Dibbler, the man whose name was the byword for quality. With CMOT Dibbler, you could say bye to quality. I'll say this for the ICBM. It made coffee strong enough to blow your head off. On the downside, the imp tended to use most of the beans to fuel its own addiction. Some days the poor thing was so jittery the coffee machine would vibrate off the shelf.
Great.
Nothing like a cup of imp-made coffee to make me jittery and paranoid.
Sounds fantastic. Okay. If you ask me, something was lost in the transition to this 3D style. Yeah, I can understand that. His model doesn't look too bad, but the low, like, 640 by 480 isn't doing any favors to the resolution, and the 16-bit color palette is also causing a bit of a problem for the visuals. No, I did attempt to get this into higher resolution. I don't know if it would have worked. So, it's got the mood going. Grim Fandango did a pretty good job with it. It wasn't just, that wasn't really film noir though. That was more, well, it was film noir, deco, and Day of the Dead color, so. His face looks, well, that's a heck of a chin. Well, let's leave. Okay. Here's Ankh-Morpork. There's his office. Okay. There's the wharf. Is that the palace? So... the Disc Theatre, maybe. Where's the university? Is that it? Looks a bit small. It seems like the areas we can go to will actually get highlighted. They sort of stand out a bit more. And we can't go to places until we learn about them. Okay.
The wharf was on the upmarket side of the river, in the city of Ankh. The Morpork docks on the other side of the river were not a place wise travelers disembarked at. But then again, wise travelers tried to avoid Ankh-Morpork altogether. But if you traveled a lot, it was hard to miss. Like malaria.
Okay. Ship.
The Milka was a tramp schooner. One of the many ramshackle ships that plied their trade around the Circle Sea. From the looks of it, it should have sunk years ago. Even the rats thought twice before boarding it.
Joke on Bolter, is it?
The first mate wasn't as hostile as I might have expected, but he wasn't particularly helpful either.
Mr. Scotland. Well, we haven't talked to him yet. There's another dude down there, but I don't seem to be able to talk to him, or... maybe I can. It looks... maybe it goes to another scene. Yeah, okay. Yeah, crates.
I couldn't tell what the crates contained, and frankly, I didn't much care. Outgoing cargo wasn't going to tell me much. I needed to know whether Mundy had brought something with him. I couldn't carry the crates even if I wanted to.
Right.
The sailor was busy loading the ship, and I decided not to disturb him. Something told me I wasn't going to learn anything useful from the sailor.
Okay, fine. Let's leave. This is a completely unusable thingamabob. Can we pick up the ship?
The first mate didn't look particularly willing to let people aboard.
Oh, okay.
Are you the first mate?
Arr! Shiver me timbers! Hoist the main brace!
Let's start again. Are you the first mate?
Aye, that I be.
You're not going to get any money off me, so you can drop the fake accent.
Sorry, you know how it is. Some people are stupid enough to fall for that sort of thing. What can I do for you?
Oh, heck. What's all this? We can... masticate. I guess say goodbye. Notebook, inventory...
I suppressed the urge to ask for money. I was broke, sure, but I wasn't that desperate.
Oh, okay then. Oh, we can ask about specific topics. Okay. Is that it? Interesting.
When do you sail?
As soon as we've got her loaded.
How much is passage?
Where are you looking to go?
I don't know. Sort, perhaps.
We've just come from there. It'll be a long time before we get back there again.
Did you bring any passengers?
Sure. We always try to take a couple of passengers. They pay their way, and if there's a big storm, they are very useful as to sacrifice to the angry sea gods. Of course, we tell people they were washed over the side.
Yeah, fair enough. Not really, but whatever. Okay. What's this, I guess?
The Milka was the tramp schooner that Mundy had come in on, and I knew it was berthed at the wharf.
Oh.
Carlotta had hired me to track down Mundy. At the beginning, that was pretty much all I knew about him.
Yeah, she was very unhelpful with any kind of physical description of him. Double click. No? Okay.
Was there a man named Mundy
there we
on the
go.
last voyage?
It's funny you should ask that. You're the second person today to have an interest in Mundy.
Who was the first?
A dwarf. He didn't give his name. I don't think he was from round here, though.
What about Mundy? What was he like?
I don't pry into the passenger's business, but for a man who came on board pretty happy, he seemed pretty unsettled when he left. Not that I blame him. Something was definitely amiss on this last voyage.
Do you know where he is now?
Mundy? No. Like I said, I don't pry into passenger's business.
Unless you actually look through their luggage after they've been washed over the side.
Hey!
I'm not inferring
sorry.
anything. I'm implying that you might have had a look at their luggage at one point.
If I had, I certainly wouldn't admit it to you.
Which either means you didn't look, or you didn't find anything of interest.
You better watch your steps, son. It's not good to make accusations like that.
Don't worry. Anything we discuss is strictly between you, me, and anyone else I tell.
Okay. Stranger asking questions. Oh, the dwarf. Okay.
This is the Milka, isn't it?
Oh,
That's
single
what it
click.
says on the prow.
It's impossible to read anything written on that hull.
Just because you can't read it doesn't mean it isn't there. Reality is subjective, after all.
Don't get all existential with me.
It was more ontological than existential.
That's a really bad habit you've got there.
What? Oh, sorry. I picked up a bad case of philosophy in Ephebe a couple of years ago, and I haven't been able to get rid of it since. Just can't seem to shake it off. Normal as anything one minute. Next moment, I'm wondering if anything can truly be said to exist. A bit of a drawback when you're supposed to be navigating.
Okay, assuming the existence of an objective shared universe, is this the Milka?
Yes.
Can I have a look on board?
No.
That better not be some kind of philosophical objection.
No one gets on board without Captain Jenkins' permission.
Where is the captain?
I don't know. But you could try the Cafe Ankh. He usually goes there when he's in Ankh-Morpork. If it exists, of course.
Great. Philosophical first mate. Cases. Contacts and suspects. Okay.
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
Doesn't ring any bells, I'm afraid.
Yeah, okay. Stranger asking questions.
Since that was who I'd learnt about that from in the first place, I didn't feel I had much to gain by going over old ground.
Okay, I guess he wouldn't fill us in any more other than there was a dwarf. I don't know his name. So not what he looked like. I guess he looked like a dwarf. You know, big iron shod boots, chainmail vest, possibly a helmet with horns in it. Probably singing about gold. Okay. A great big bushy beard. Yeah, yeah. I'm still learning about the interface here a bit. So just hold on. Oh, that switches back and forth. Okay. I think that's it.
Well, safe voyage, if that's possible.
Okay, well, we have another place. Oh, a bollard.
Along the length of the wharf were hundreds of posts for mooring ships to. It seemed like a lot of bollards to me.
Ha ha ha. Can you pick it?
What did I need bollards for? It wasn't like I could move them anyway.
To sit on? No? Okay. Ah, there we go.
The Cafe Ankh. The wharf. My office.
Okay, very brief. I'm guessing the introduction where he was apparently stabbed will make more sense later on. Oh, hello, a crowbar.
A good-looking crowbar. It looked like it had a good heft, too.
Oh, it's a golem.
The golem was loading wine barrels onto the cart, calmly and diligently. I would have pitied it, but there didn't seem much point. It was just magically animated clay. The cart was being loaded with barrels of wine. Apart from the wine, I can't say I was interested.
No donkey cart.
I figured the golem wouldn't notice that the crowbar had gone missing. Not that I'm saying it didn't need it, just that I'd figured I'd get away with stealing it.
I think if it wasn't told to specifically use the crowbar, it probably wouldn't matter.
I decided not to try stealing the wine barrels.
Okay.
I decided not... I guess I never really noticed that the Cafe Ankh had a wine cellar before. Perhaps if they'd run out of drinks at the bar, I'd have been more inclined to investigate.
Okay.
The main doors to the Cafe Ankh were one of its most useful features. Without it, no one could get in or out.
You can't recall if the whiskey knocked you flat, or if everything was a blur when you met her. All that you remember are the tunes of a vampire, a melancholy tune about impending doom. I'll fetch your tankard, fill it to the brim. A cask of stale, broken drum ale. Wondering how long till you meet again on the bank of the Ankh. Too much to drink, you could barely even think. Too much bare heart.
I thought I told you never to play that song again. Oh, sorry, Mr. Lewton. It's just I wasn't expecting you to call by tonight, and... You weren't expecting me? It's only been 8 years, Samael. I guess my memory ain't what it used to be. I don't know why Samael put up with my temper. He could have broken every bone in my body if he'd wanted to. But that's what made him special, I guess. That he'd take almost any kind of abuse from the clientele, and he'd still be there at the piano, playing better than anyone else in Ankh-Morpork.
Right? Oh, okay, I've got my cursor.
The pianist, Samael, was one of Cafe Ankh's greatest assets. Not only was he a first-rate musician, but there was something about him that made you think it'd be a bad idea to start any trouble. I decided not to disturb Samael while he was working.
Okay. Oh, Nobby.
My old friend Nobby from the Watch. I hadn't spoken to him in ages.
It's got friends? No, there's Captain Jenkins.
The captain of the Milka, Captain Jenkins, didn't seem to be a very happy man.
Okay, we can go further to the left over there.
Hello, Nobby.
Hello, Lewton. How you been keeping?
I've been worse. Of course, I've been better, too. And I've been a hell of a lot better and not much worse.
That's good, isn't it?
Don't worry. If Commander Vimes sees us together, I'll tell him I made you talk to me.
It's not that I don't like you, Lewton. I mean, we was friends and all. But it's just, well...
It's just he'd bite your head off if he saw you talking to me.
He'd go spare.
How you been keeping, Nobby? How's the rest of the watch?
Not so bad, Lewton. Been keeping myself busy. Been working with Sergeant Colon.
How is old Fatty Colon?
Still fat. I'll tell him I saw you.
No, you won't.
Okay, so maybe I won't. I was just being trite.
Polite.
Yeah, that's the one.
Character seem more on spot. So let's see, 99. What was the book's bit written around that time? Around Last Continent? Maybe? So the watch is on the up and up compared to Discworld 1 and Discworld 2. Discworld 1 was around Guards, which was really the beginning of when the watch started to improve with Carrot arriving. By this point, if it's after Feet of Clay, they've actually started to become more the City Watch rather than just the Night Watch. And Vimes will have improved himself significantly. Not that we met him in Discord, but...
I guess I never really understood why it was that you didn't get kicked out as well, Nobby.
Me? I ain't never done nothing wrong.
Don't give me that, Nobby. When you were serving as quartermaster under the Duke of Pseudopolis, it was widely known that several items from the stores were found in your kit.
That was all above board. I had all the paperwork for him.
Your kit at the time consisted of 2 warehouses. I just think Vimes had a grudge against me.
Lewton, I know you're my friend and all, but you took a bribe.
Are you trying to tell me you never took a bribe?
Never.
The ham from Harga's House of Ribs?
Evidence.
The pocket clock from the Suicide in the Shades?
I wanted something to remember him by.
The money in the petty cash box?
Mislaid by someone.
Misappropriated by you.
I never misanthropated anything.
I just want to understand why it was that you could get away with all your petty theft, and I couldn't get away with one act of weakness.
Well, you see,
Just say it, Nobby. I'm not gonna hold it against you.
Well, I reckon Mr. Vimes thinks that a bit of petty theft ain't something to get excited about. I ain't admitting anything, mark you. Nothing's ever been proved. Compared to some of the stuff that goes on in this city. But someone who's taken a bribe, well, that's like allowing the rich to avoid justice.
That wasn't why I did it.
I know. But you know Vimes.
Yeah, I know Vimes all right. What's Vimes up to these days?
He got married.
Married? He was only ever married to his job.
Nah, straight up. He married into nobility.
Old Stoneface in the nobility. That'd drive him crazy.
Well, he's sort of nobility himself now.
What?
They made him commander of the watch. And we got a great new premises down on Pseudopolis Yard. They're full of paintings and vases and all sorts.
Full?
Well, maybe not as full as when we moved in, but pretty full.
I'll have to call round sometime.
Yeah, that'd be good. We got a lot more members in the watch these days. And we got a new dartboard.
Life in the fast lane, huh? Do you seriously think it's a good idea for me to call around? I mean, Vimes isn't gonna like it.
Whatever you may think about him, he's loyal to his job. I can't say he'll welcome you with open arms, but he won't stop you.
So Vimes ends up marrying Sybil. You remember from Discworld 1, the Lady Sybil who was looking after the swamp dragons.
I suppressed the urge. I was broke.
Okay, it's the same dialogue.
Tempting as it was, I decided not to start attacking people with the crowbar.
I thought you were just going to show him to it, not try to beat him over the head with it. Okay. I guess we could ask him about stuff. They might have heard something in the watch. So I guess Lewton was part of the watch at one point.
Have you heard of the Milka? It arrived in town a short time ago.
How long ago?
3 days.
That's strange.
Why?
Well, there's been a string of odd murders in the last 3 days.
What do you mean, odd? I mean, this is Ankh-Morpork we're talking about.
I'm not sure I should discuss the details with a pavilion.
A civilian, Nobby. How much have you had to drink?
I'm as sober as the day I was born.
That's a frightening thought.
I'd say Nobby's model there looks a bit weird, but, well, it's Nobby. He's supposed to look a bit weird. Yes, a
Since
certificate
that
to say
was
that
who
he
I
was,
learned about that from in the first...
Oh, okay. Oh, right, okay. He's got a certificate to say that he is human.
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
I'm not getting drawn into anything while I'm off duty. Wait till I'm back at the yard.
Has there been a dwarf around asking questions?
Can't this wait till I get back to the yard? I'm off duty.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about all of this.
Do you know anything about a man named Mundy?
I'm not getting drawn into anything while I'm off. Wait.
Yeah, okay, fine. Bye.
I'll catch you later, Nobby. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, don't get caught doing anything I wouldn't do.
Okay. Hello?
Are you Captain Jenkins?
That depends on who's asking.
Don't play games. I'm just after a few answers.
Lip syncing
That
is
song
optional.
really put you in a bad mood, didn't it?
If you're trying to get me angry, it's working.
No need to get upset. You need to drink more and think less.
If I drank any more than I do now, I'd never think again.
That's the ticket.
So, you're the captain of the Milka.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately?
Ordinarily, I'd be happy being a captain of a fine ship like the Milka, but after this last voyage, I'm thinking of taking up farming.
Tough journey?
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I gotta ask anyway.
I understand you were carrying a man named Mundy on your ship.
What's it to you?
I was hoping to find him.
Owes you money, does he?
No, he's an old friend.
Him? You must think I'm as drunk as I look.
Aren't you?
Well, okay, so maybe I am. What did you want to know?
Where is he now?
I've no idea. We picked him up in Sort a couple of weeks ago and we brought him here. That's about all I want to know about him.
Did he say what he was coming to Ankh-Morpork for?
I think he said he was meeting someone.
Who?
I can barely remember my own name, let alone something I overheard through a doorway last week.
What did he say? Like, he wanted to meet someone last week? But it was 3 days ago they arrived. Is that a discrepancy? Or, does he mean, like, it's Saturday or Monday now, and it was from Friday or something?
You know, no. She looks like
sorry.
exactly what she is. A run-down tramp schooner with no future.
Any chance I could look around her anyway?
All I want to do is get the cargo loaded and get out of this god's-forsaken city. I don't need people snooping around on board.
It'd really help me. I'll be your best friend.
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
There's no one I know.
Fine.
Has there been a dwarf around asking questions?
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Okay.
Do you know anything about the recent murders in Ankh-Morpork?
I know that there are always murders in Ankh-Morpork. See Ankh-Morpork and die, they say. Often in the same day.
That's not a very helpful answer.
It wasn't a very sensible question.
Yeah, I guess we don't have specifics about it, so it doesn't really mean much.
I understand you.
What's it?
I was.
Owes you
He.
Okay, that's just
you
the same.
Aren't you?
Well, what did you want to know?
Where is he?
Well, no, we picked him up. That's about all I want to know.
Did he say what he was?
I think he said he was me.
Who?
I can.
Oh, no, of course. He could have overheard him on the ship.
I'll see you around, Captain.
That makes enough sense, right? A bar.
My old friend, the bar. I was tempted to order a drink, but I was working.
There's no one there.
I suppressed the urge to get myself a drink, although I could really have used one.
Take a leaf out of Iron's book.
Hello again.
Oh, I don't want to... No, bye. I just swoop into the little alcove. Okay, let's go. What's the papers there say? Musical notations, I think. Okay. Now, there's Pseudopolis Yard.
The headquarters of the watch at Pseudopolis Yard.
No. Pseudopolis? I always said Pseudopolis, but whatever. I guess we can
I
go
headed
there.
over to Pseudopolis Yard, but Nobby wasn't there yet. I decided to come back later.
Okay. So we didn't get permission from the, Let me try something.
There was no use trying to talk to the golem. It couldn't speak.
Yeah, golems don't have mouths, usually. It's pronounced vase. Thank you.
Hello again.
Hello. I have this crowbar.
Tempting as it was,
Okay, fine.
I was...
Fine.
I'll...
I just wanted to make sure that we couldn't threaten him to get more information out of him. You know, we're a PI who plays hard and fast with the rule of law. We don't take no guff for nobody and so on. Do I sleep at the desk until a later time?
I could... All I had to do was track down Mundy and tell Carlotta where he was.
Couldn't we hire an assassin or something for this? Well, I guess we've been hired to do it, right? So, palming our work off onto other people. Ah, the sailor's not here anymore. Ah, I see.
A crate. What more could I say? The crates on the wharf were built on a large frame, sturdy and thick.
I see what we need to do. Okay. So far, it seems to be pretty stable. I am pleased. Use crowbar on self, no? Okay.
I didn't much like being jammed into a crate and loaded onto the ship, but I could think of worse fates.
Yeah.
Like being jammed into a crate full of rats and loaded onto the ship. What's your name then, little fellow?
You would have to nail the thing shut.
The hold was dark and dank, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone.
Aside from the rats.
The hold was full of crates for the outgoing voyage. They were of little interest to me.
And water. Awesome.
The bilge water was littered with flotsam that looked like the remains of a smashed crate. It was just flotsam.
Jetsam?
I thought I could see a label amongst the wreckage. I pulled the label out of the wreckage. It had writing on it that I couldn't understand.
Squiggle, 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 squiggle. End up being like it's backwards or something.
The hold was full of... They were...
Yeah, okay. I guess let's leave. Is there anything else here? No? Okay. Actually, I'm surprised that... Well, no, the water could have been picked up on the ocean. Not from the River Ankh. I don't think the River Ankh water would seep into the ship. Ooze, maybe, but...
It looked lived in. The question was, by what? There was nothing of value in the debris.
Okay. Use crowbar on layer.
I didn't think there was much I could do with the debris.
Okay, never mind. Well, I can't see anything. Can I use my notebook myself?
I didn't think there...
What's that for?
Mundy must have had business out of town. But what? The Milka was...
Do I have to, like, join things together?
Carlotta claimed Mundy was her lover. The question had to be, was she telling the truth?
For someone who apparently claims he's her lover, she had very little to say in the way of, like, description of him. You'd think you'd pay more attention.
I didn't know enough about the murders to start jumping to conclusions.
Okay, this is interesting. I have to, like, try and draw conclusions between things. I mean, chances are they're not related, but we know that they were looking for Mundy.
Mundy must... The Milka...
Okay, I think I'm swapping the, I keep double-clicking, but that's swapping the, topics around. No? Hang on.
There didn't seem to be any obvious connection to Carlotta.
Okay, so if I single-click, it switches the topic around. You have to double-click after selecting a topic. You have to double-click on another topic to actually sort of see if you can draw a connection there.
He was asking after Mundy, but how did they know that he was on the Milka? The stranger must have had some connection to Mundy.
Okay.
I didn't know...
Yeah, fine. We just know there's murders. We don't know if they're connected to the case or what. So they did start 3 days ago. Can we use a curse on the left?
I didn't think there...
No? Okay. Let's just leave then. Oh, we can go up here.
The hold wasn't somewhere I was in a hurry to go back to. But the ladder was there in case curiosity overruled common sense. In my job, it usually did.
Okay, so the first mate's there. Do we have to sneak around? Well, we have quieter shoes than Garrett. What's in here?
A bunk bed like any other. A perfectly ordinary bunk bed. I searched one of the bunks, but found nothing useful, and nothing I wanted to think too closely about. I searched a bunk and found a small scrap of cardboard. It could have been anything. There was a number on the back. Either a 6 or a 9. It was hard to say.
Okay. Anything else? Doesn't look like it. I can't open this bedside. Oh, hang on.
I'd managed to remain hidden on the ship, but I knew my luck couldn't last forever, because I'd stopped being lucky around age 12. The first mate looked less than happy, but I don't think he saw who I was as I dived in elegantly onto the Ankh. Fortunately, the crust of the Ankh was soft that night, and I escaped both injury and discovery, although I needed 2 baths just to feel dirty.
I saw some, scratch marks on the side of the bunk.
On an ordinary night, I'd sit around waiting for business. But this night, business was coming to me, and bringing trouble with it. Business, I didn't mind. But trouble was an unwelcome guest. And like all unwelcome guests, it was hard to ask it to leave. And by the 3rd day, it was generally wearing your shirts and leaving its stuff in your bathroom.
The
Hello,
metaphor's getting
Mr.
extremely
Lewton.
stretched.
I've been expecting you.
I should hope so. This is my office. How'd you get in?
Through the door. It was only locked. I know all about doors.
Good. Use this one to get out.
I have a message for you, Mr. Lewton.
I don't take messages from strangers.
Then let me introduce myself. My name is Mr. Al-Khali.
I don't take messages from dwarves named after cities.
My name isn't important.
You seem to think it was.
I've come to warn you to stay clear of the Mundy case.
I'll bear that in mind. Now get out.
If you don't stay clear of the Mundy case, something untoward may happen to you.
This is Ankh-Morpork. Something untoward may happen to me whether I investigate this case or not. Now either you get out or I'll throw you out.
Don't say I didn't warn you, Mr. Lewton.
Don't say I didn't ignore you, Mr. Al-Khali. A dwarf named after the Klatchian city of Al-Khali. And a threat. This case was getting more interesting by the minute. All we needed was a troll and a member of the undead, and we could open an ethnic comedy on Broadway.
Hello, welcome, Sugniff. Okay, I mean, I didn't lock the door before I left, but I don't think it was an option. Okay, so we found... I'm assuming that's the same dwarf as, Why can't I access my inventory in here? There we go. Yeah, I'm going to assume...
I couldn't see any real evidence of a connection to Mr. Al-Khali.
Really? I would have thought so.
Perhaps I should concentrate on finding out who the stranger was.
I guess
The
maybe
dwarf
just
I knew-
because...
The dwarf had tried to threaten me off the Mundy case. I knew right from the start that he knew more than he was telling me.
Okay. I'm guessing it's not enough to assume that they're the same person.
The first mate had said that a dwarf had been asking about Mundy before I had. That raised my suspicions that there was more going on than Carlotta was telling me.
Double click. Sorry.
What was the connection between Mundy and Al-Khali? The The stranger must...
Can I go back to the ship? Oh, he's back there. I did see, like, scratches on the side of the, side of the bunk bed. I guess I must have moused over them and nothing happened, so they're probably not important. Maybe Nobby's back at the yard now? Yep, okay.
Hello again.
Hello yourself.
Can I ask you about this guy?
What do you know about a dwarf named Al-Kali?
There's no one I know.
Okay, then.
I'll see.
Maybe if I go ask the first mate?
Still here?
Not for much longer, I hope.
I gave the description of Al-Kali to the first mate, and he recognized it.
Yeah, that's the dwarf who was asking about Mundy before. Strange little fellow.
A word of advice. Don't use phrases like strange little fellow when you're talking about dwarves. Especially not drunken dwarves, or dwarves like Al-Kali who seem to think they're invulnerable.
Okay. Well, we actually scribbled it out, and so we know that they're the same person. Okay. Good. Oh, I can't use the crate again. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, the sailor's not there now. Let's go to the yard. I never really actually had an image in my mind of what this place would look like. Megumshoe brings all the boys to the yard. And I can ask them questions. Where were you? What's your relation with Mundy?
You could say this about Nobby. Deep down, he was a good man. Well, deep down, he was probably a man. Good might be stretching it a bit. Hello again, Nobby.
Hello, Lewton.
Did I disturb you?
No. What made you think that?
Well, there appears to be smoke coming from your ear.
Oh, that, well, I've been working hard, you see.
Working so hard that your ears have caught fire. Don't worry about it, Nobby. It's not like I'm going to report you.
I have been working, see?
Oh, sure. I never doubted it for a second.
Nobby's ears are described as a nicotine graveyard.
How's work treating you then?
Not so bad, Lewton. I've been busy, though. Rushed off my feet.
Yeah, I can tell. What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
Never heard of him.
Okay.
Do you know a dwarf by the name of Al-Kali?
Never heard of him.
How did you know he was male, then?
You can't trick me. Everyone knows dwarves don't use the female pronoun.
Okay.
Mind you, I've always wondered what a female pronoun was.
One of nature's wonderful mysteries, Nobby.
Is it normally kept covered or what?
I'm going to leave it to your rather uninventive imagination, Nobby.
Yeah, dwarves all look the same in that they have a big beard, and they don't dress differently based on what gender they are. Though there is movement in Ankh-Morpork for some dwarves actually dressing in a more feminine nature. One of them is actually in the watch, called Cheery.
Do you know anything about a man named Mundy?
Never heard of him.
Have you learned anything about the Milka?
Yeah, not as such, no.
You go to great lengths to conceal how little work you do, don't you?
Hey,
He's being very unhelpful. What can you tell me about these murders you mentioned?
Any word on these murders?
nothing yet. But our top investigators are working on the case 24 hours a day.
Nobby?
Yeah?
Are you one of those crack investigators?
Yeah? Why?
Never mind. Just a thought.
Top men. Possibly. Okay, I think I asked you about everything. Can
Can you read this?
Give me a break, Lewton. I don't know everything.
Okay, what about this?
Does this mean anything to you?
No.
Fine.
Catch you later, Nobby.
Okay. Oh, a bell.
There was an ordinary bell on the reception desk. There was something about it that really made you want to strike it. I really wanted to ring the bell, but given that Nobby was right in front of me, it would just have wound him up.
Also, I see these pictures up here. They're actually of the artwork from Discworld 2. Missing Presumed. That's the forest. I think that's from the second one. Yeah, and this is the university. Also, this texture of the carpet on the stairs is delightful. Can I go upstairs? No. Hold on a moment.
Hello again.
I really didn't get much from you.
Hello.
So you didn't find anything about Mundy. You didn't find anything about the Milker. Don't know Carlotta. You don't know this dwarf. And
Any word on these?
you're not telling me anything about the
But our
murders.
top...
Nob.
Yeah? Yeah? Why?
Never mind. Just a thought.
Okay. Very unhelpful.
How's work?
Not. I've been busy, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like measles, maybe. Or athlete's foot.
I guess we leave.
The troll stepped
Oh.
out of the shadows like light was too intimidated to illuminate him. He seemed like the quiet sort, but you got the feeling that if you stepped out of line, you'd get your teeth kicked down your throat. For that matter, he could kick your throat down your chest and your chest through your legs. But I was hoping it wouldn't come to that, because none of my clothes would fit.
Find Therma.
Sorry, friend, I don't understand.
Find Therma.
You want me to find Therma? Is that it? Well, what is it? A person? A thing? Look, if we're going to carry out a conversation, it'd help for you to talk.
Find Therma.
Okay, find Therma. What's your name, friend? There was something about a troll that big that made you want to call him friend.
Malachite. Find Therma. You've got to find her.
I wasn't about to argue with a troll that could twist my head off and use it as a cocktail onion. Okay, friend, what can you tell me about her? Any suggestions of where I should start looking?
Used to sing at the Octarine Parrot. Find Therma. Got to find Therma.
How can I contact you?
Find Therma.
That was all he said. I guess he wasn't very bright. But then there's things under damp logs that are brighter than most trolls.
It's true, Wolf, although they're not super conductive. Yeah, trolls don't function terribly well in the warm climes of the city. Up in the mountains where it's a lot colder, they're a lot smarter. Dingy wants me to find Therma. Oh, okay. Oh, we got a new place.
The Octarine Parrot.
I guess we go there.
I'd heard of the Octarine Parrot. It made other dives sound appealing. What a place. I could feel the rats in the walls. Hell, I could see the rats in the walls. In fact, some of them had come out of the walls and were sitting at the tables.
Okay. Also, that mirror had something written on it, but I couldn't see it.
The bartender was a half-elf called Mencken, and I knew he wouldn't appreciate someone coming into his place and asking questions. Fortunately, I didn't care what he appreciated.
I don't remember if there is any half-elf characters in Discworld. Elves aren't really a race which. Well, actually, Impy Ceylon, I think, had possibly he was a bit elvish. That's also just for a joke. Anyway.
The bar looked almost as appealing as every other bar in town to me, but the drinks didn't exactly fill you with confidence.
Can I help you?
You could sell me a drink.
What's your poison?
I'd prefer whiskey straight with a whiskey chaser.
You didn't come here to drink, did you?
Well, I didn't come here for the sparkling conversation. Most of the customers go squeak, squeak.
It says like Whalebone Lane on the window there or something. I think.
This seems like a nice place.
No, it doesn't. It seems like what it is. A wretched hive of scum and villainy.
It's tough to get to the top in that field. You could have that on a sign outside. Come to the Octarine Parrot, the most wretched hive of scum and villainy this side of the Ankh.
Are you being funny?
Apparently not.
You look a little nervous.
I can't shake the feeling that sooner or later someone is going to get their arm cut off.
Okay.
The big troll had come up to me out of nowhere and asked me to find Therma. He certainly wasn't the brightest troll I'd met. At the start, all I knew about the mysterious Therma was that Malachite wanted me to find her, and that she used to sing at the Octarine Parrot.
Ah, this is a different case. Okay. Interesting. Music sounds like it's having a landslide built into it.
I gave Mencken Mundy's description and asked if he'd seen him. He told me that he hadn't. Maybe I could trust him. A half-elf doesn't need to make any more enemies. Do you know anything about the Milka?
If you asked fewer questions, maybe you'd get more answers.
Okay, fine. We'll stick to the other case then.
Do you know of a troll who goes by the name of Malachite? Tall, terse, and dense, in both senses of the word.
Might have been one of the customers from when this used to be a troll bar, but I wouldn't know him if he was.
Okay.
Do you know someone named Therma? She used to sing here.
That'd be before my time. Sapphire might know. She knew all the troll singers from back before I took over the parrot.
Okay.
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
I know a lot of people. That doesn't mean I want to talk about them with you.
What do you know about a dwarf named Al-Kali?
I know a lot of people. That doesn't...
Fine. Okay. We're getting nowhere fast. Can you make out this?
Can you read this?
Nope.
Okay. Bye. Let's have a look at the notice board.
I couldn't imagine who would pay attention to the notices in a seedy dive like the Parrot, but I guess they were of interest to someone. Come and see the greatest historical tragedy ever told, Antilogy in Cleffatara, Whell's masterpiece as 'twas meant to be performed by actors.
Actors.
The stage, where performers go up in front of a drunken crowd and sell their dignity to earn enough money to barely live on. It made me think that all the discs a stage and all the people players. Unfortunately, I felt like I'd been cast as an extra in my own life story. There was nothing I could do with the stage other than be glad I didn't have to perform on it.
Hello?
The troll singer was something else. I didn't know what, but she was something. Can we talk?
Certainly look that way. Move mouth, waggle tongue. Yeah, it all working.
My name's Lewton.
Sapphire.
I could already tell that Sapphire was a troll who could look after herself. I knew I'd have to watch my step around her. It was quite a long way round her, too, and not the pretty way. You been a singer here long?
Long enough.
Long enough for what?
Long enough to want to be singing somewhere else.
I don't suppose you'd know a big troll called Malachite.
Sure, he troll a few words, 'cause he don't know that many.
Do you know where I could find him?
Sapphire not seen him in years, but you try Rodin's workshop. He used to hang out there.
I think they're trying to put on some kind of accent. I don't know what kind, but... Oh, hang on.
Have you heard of a troll singer named Therma? She used to work here.
Huh, a troll singer named Therma.
What's so funny?
Nothing. Sure, Sapphire know her.
Know where I could find her?
Try morgue. She dead. Her house on Tallow Street collapsed while back now. We trolls may be tough, but we're not indestructible. Rumors say she was practicing her moves and knocked out load-bearing beam. Brought whole place down on top of her. That's why Sapphire never practiced.
That's the only reason.
That, and I don't wanna.
Know where she's buried?
Sapphire don't know, but think they buried her under stage name Madame Lodestone.
Madame Lodestone?
Sure, on account of how attractive she was.
Okay. Yeah, trolls are made of stone, but I think when they get hurt, they, like, ooze. Oh bugger. No, internet! You've apparently dropped out. Well, that sucks. Hold on a moment.
I'll be back.
I'm going to make a save. I guess we'll see whether the internet reconnects and decides to play ball. I'm enjoying this. This is good. It's well written. Very good. Okay. I am going to pause the recording then, and I'll pick this up if my internet reconnects. Okay, hello and welcome. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm doing pretty good. Let's try this again, shall we? I'm going to have to splice this session to the previous one. People later watching on YouTube. My internet went down, kind of. It was sort of connecting, but it was extremely unstable, and it kept dropping out. So streaming was a non-option, because it would just be dropping out every 30 seconds or so. So I had to call an end to it. However, it was only about an hour. So we can continue with Discworld Noir tonight, and let's hope that it was that it will be more stable. Didn't even have a storm last night. That was today, after a 38-degree day. It's weird. 38 degrees and then starts pouring rain, and there's power outages around the city still. What are you doing, weather? And also trains are out, which is fantastic. Not that I need to go anywhere. Some of my friends are stuck though. Anyway. This is your update on how things are like down here. Let's continue playing Discworld Noir, which I was thoroughly enjoying. So far, I think I can say this is my favorite out of the Discworld games I've played, and I haven't even gotten very far into it. The writing in this is much more compelling because it feels like it's doing its own story. I like the adaptations of the books from Discworld 1 and 2, Guards, and for the first one, and moving pictures, and Reaper Man, more or less, for the second one. But you know, I always like seeing a more original story. Yeah. Hello, welcome. So we're in here. What's this place called? The Octarine Parrot. Octarine being the color of magic. And we talked to the barkeep here, Mankin, who is actually a half-elf, which I've been doing reading in my spare time. I actually finished Guards. First time in a number of years. And doing a fair amount of reading up on the wiki and looking at a map of Ankh-Morpork so I can understand where things are. And half-elves are actually a thing. They tend to say, apparently they tend to present themselves as being elves rather than half-elves. Elves being the type of race which has a relationship with a human and then sort of goes off because they lose interest and they get bored. So they leave the half-elves. No, I don't think they really show up too often. I think some of them are in moving pictures, but they're sort of described as maintaining some of the glamour which elves have. Anyway, we talked to Sapphire here. Did I finish?
Good to see you again, Sapphire.
Feelings
to our
neutral,
topics?
I'm sure.
Neutral. Okay, so we'd asked about Therma, and I think she said that her name was Madame Lodestone. She was someone who worked here previously. Malachite, I believe, is the head of the brick here. The no, that's Chrysophase. Pardon me. Different troll. Brickier being the troll version of the Mafia. Do you know anything
Word
about
is
these?
there's been a lot of strange murders recently.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Why not?
There are a lot of strange people in this city.
Yeah, well, okay. Maybe there's nothing to that at all. I mean, we got that information from Nobby. He's not a reliable source of information. We'd have to run it by Vimes, I think, if we ever met him. If he'd be willing to tell us. Apparently, our character, I forget his name right now, Lewton, and Vimes, probably don't get along very well. Apparently, there was an issue with Lewton accepting a bribe, which, even though it was apparently for good reasons, Vimes removed him from the watch. So Vimes has a certain view on things like this, such as, oh, what is it? I think it comes up in, is it third or the fifth elephant or something like that? Something like if you break a rule you've got for a good reason, then you'll break it for bad reasons. I think a similar concept is from one of Agatha Christie's books, Murder is Easy, where you have the person who done it describe that the first time they committed murder, it was extremely hard, and afterwards it became easier and easier because, you know, it was a solution that they had sort of they'd gotten over the hill of, and they turned to it for their for a solution to their further problems, mostly the other murders which they committed, I believe. Yes, I've read a lot of Agatha Christie books. I don't remember them terribly well. They're quite formulaic. Interesting in their own part. I found them annoying because she always puts some kind of twist towards the end, which means that you can't guess who the murderer is. There's pretty much no point. Anyway, all these things are related to each other because Terry Pratchett did a lot of referencing to other material and works in his books, so I don't know all of it.
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
Sci-fi know a lot of people, but don't know everyone, mister.
Okay.
What do you know about a dwarf named Al-Kali?
Sci-fi know a lot of
Yeah, okay. And Al-Kali, as with as I found out, that is actually a place located in Clatch. A bit to the west of where we were in Discworld 2. I think. Just maybe not quite towards the mountains where we found the Fountain of Youth.
I don't suppose you'd know a big troll called Malachite.
Sure, he troll a few words.
Ah, yes,
'cause he
Malachite's the
don't
one
know
who
that
told us to
many.
find Therma.
Do you know where I could find him?
Sapphire not seen him in years, but you try Rodin's workshop. He used to hang out there.
Okay, we did ask about that.
Have you heard of a troll singer named Therma?
Let's just go over
She
this
used to
again.
work here.
Huh, a troll singer named Therma.
What's so funny?
Huh, nothing. Sure, Sapphire know her.
Know where I could find her?
Try Morgue. She dead. Her house on Tallow Street collapsed while back. Rumors say she was practicing her.
That's the only.
That, and
Know where she's been?
Sapphire don't know, but think they
Madame Lode.
sure on account of.
Okay. Right. Probably not much point to ask about the ship. Oh, right. Double click.
So Therma performed here under the name Madame Lodestone.
Who are you? The narrator? I told you that already.
We don't have a narrator. Well, actually, we do. Lewton is a narrator. He's also the protagonist. He does a lot of monologuing, as befits a noir protagonist.
What's the connection between Malachite and Therma?
How would Sapphire know? Ask him yourself. Oh, but one piece of advice. Don't tell Malachite that Therma dead.
Why not?
You wouldn't want to be bearer of bad news to troll like that.
He's not above killing the messenger, then.
He's not above eating the messenger, honey.
I didn't think trolls could digest human flesh.
Right. It make them ill. That make you feel better?
It's not gonna stop him. Okay.
You been a singer here long?
Long enough. Long enough.
Yep, okay.
Can you read this?
Ask too many questions and a girl loses interest.
Okay, fine, never mind.
I'll be back.
Is there anything else around here? Stage. Bar. No? Okay, let's go. Also, I'll make a save. I'll put 2. Technically a new session. Okay, so... let me see. Having looked at the map of Ankh-Morpork, I have a better idea of where exactly we're looking. So yeah, the palace is over there. The Unseen University is up here. Pseudopolis Yard, yeah, that's about right. Though the shape of it's wrong. If this is the Opera House building here, it should be in the center of a, like a, you know, a large yard with a road going around it. And Pseudopolis Yard is like over this side. Pseudopolis, pardon. Don't know about the disc. down here is towards the shades. The old watch house is around here, I think. Let me see. Where the square was in the first Discworld game is around here. There's actually not a square in the map of Ankh-Morpork where it was located in the first Discworld game. It was more up here. Sator Square, and I forget the other name, but the one next to it. But yeah. No, the street which we went down in Discworld 1 is around here. The street of Cunning Artificers. I would assume is the one which you're walking. A lot of businesses there. There's Rodan's workshop. Lewton's office. There's a temple here. There's a lot of temples around this area of the city. I think the street here is called Small Gods, or something like that. Or Street of Small Gods. Got like the Temple of Offla, and then a whole bunch of other gods' temples around there. Lady Ramkin's house is actually located where it was in Discworld 1. Around here or somewhere. Not up here. This is called the Tump. Further up here, which is like the ruins of an old castle on a hill overlooking the city. Later on, I believe it's where the Clax is located for one of the businesses. But anyway. Let's have a look here. Oh, very neat.
At first glance, Rodan looked like a typical sculptor. On closer examination, I decided he was much less.
Not very typical. This is a heck of a contraption he's got set up here.
All I knew about the statue was that it was a work in progress.
Got a bellows, candles, a foot statue. Hello.
You wouldn't happen to be Rodan, would you?
Ah. I know that one. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Take your time.
Yes. Yes, I think I am Rodan. How can I be sure?
Beats me. I had a note from my mother the day they did philosophy at school.
You must conceive form in depth.
Why?
Do you know, I don't remember.
It figures.
What do you make of this?
I stared at the statue he was working on. Face to face with art, we shuffle our feet and apologize. We say, I don't know much about art, but I know what I like. Well, most people do. I can't even say I know what I like. But that's not the point. The point is that if knowing what you like is good enough for shoes and drinks and women, what's wrong with applying the same rule to art? I guess people don't like to look stupid. Personally, I think art's for guys who couldn't do basic maths.
Do you like it?
Well, I don't know much about art. Sometimes I could be such a coward. So you're a sculptor, then?
Figure that one out yourself, did you? I have to wait for it to stop.
Yes. Yes. I'm reasonably sure I am. Something like that, anyway.
Why do I get the feeling that you aren't going to be much good at small talk?
Okay.
Do you know anyone named Therma?
Oh, I didn't really mean to ask that, but, whatever. We'll see where it leads us.
Where do I know that name from?
It wasn't hard to lose patience with Rodan. Every day probably took him by complete surprise.
Absorbed in his work?
Do you know a troll named Malachite?
They could have had him stop doing this animation while I'm talking to him.
Malachite. Malachite. It sounds familiar.
In your own time.
I think he works for me. Or he did work for me. No, I think he must still work for me. Look, there he is over there.
Oh, is that him there? Okay. Well, I don't think I have much else
I guess
to
you'd
ask
better
him.
get back to your work.
So I think we'll leave it there.
Were Madame Lodestone and Therma the same person? I needed to know.
Oh. Were we not... Was that not confirmed to us? That was her stage name, wasn't it?
Malachite was the biggest troll I'd ever seen. Actually, Malachite was the biggest living thing I'd ever seen, and possibly the dumbest, too. You're a tough troll to find, Malachite. You could say something. Okay, so I'll do the talking. So how you been keeping, Malachite? Okay, I guess you don't want to talk about that. This where you're staying at the moment? I guess you're not going to talk about that either. Heard any good jokes recently? How many trolls does it take to change a lamp wick? Want me to give you a clue?
Don't make him angry.
There didn't seem much point in asking Malachite about himself. He wasn't likely to say anything useful. Frankly, he wasn't likely to say anything. It was looking like the only way to get through to this guy was with a chisel. I hate to be the bearer of bad. Her house collapsed. She's been gone a while. Are you going to say something?
Need to see the body.
The body?
Find Therma.
Sorry, I skipped dialogue there.
Need to see body.
Okay, the body. No problem. Sheesh.
Okay, he didn't rip my head off.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think Therma might be dead. Her house collapsed.
Sorry,
She's
I
been
just
go-
wanted
Are
to
you
get
going
that
to say
first dialogue there.
Fine.
Okay. No problem.
So he kind of, maybe he knows that something's up with Therma being dead?
It'd be really useful if you could tell me something about Therma that I could use to find her.
Therma. Find Therma.
Yes, I know that part, but I need some leads if I'm going to find her.
Find Therma.
Malachite wasn't being very helpful, but he was tall and threatening, so I guess everyone has something going for them.
Okay. Right. Okay. Never
Always a
mind.
pleasure talking at you, Malachite.
Well, he didn't eat us when we talked about Therma possibly being dead, so that's a positive. Maybe he knows that there's a bit more going on there than. Oh, can I ask you about?
Hello again. No, I know how you'd love to talk, but I'd hate for you to wear out that beautiful voice of yours.
Can I ask you about? Oh, I can't ask you about Sapphire. I guess she's not a suspect or contact. Okay, never mind.
Always. Hello.
No.
Always.
Okay. Anything back here? No. We do something with the coffee machine.
Nothing like a cup of imp.
No. Okay. Hey.
Hello again.
Hello.
Can you tell me anything more about this?
Any word on these murders?
Nothing yet. But our top investigator...
Nobby?
Yeah? Why?
Never. Just.
Yep. Okay, it's the same thing as last time.
I don't suppose you know a troll named Malachite.
Not Mount Malachite.
Describe him.
Big, tall, stupid, not very talkative.
That's the one.
He went down for theft years ago. I seem to remember he had an accomplice.
An accomplice?
Yeah, he denied it, but we all thought he was working with someone.
I don't reckon he was the brains of the outfit. What happened?
He escaped. Not that long ago either. As far as I know, he's on the lam. Why? You've seen him?
No. Just interested.
Okay. Oh.
Have you heard of a singer called Therma?
Never heard of her.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of a troll by the name of Madame Lodestone?
Madame Lodestone? Oh, there's a name I've not heard in quite a while.
You know her then?
Well, no, but I've heard of her. She died in some sort of construction mishap.
A mishap, Nobby.
Whatever. Anyway, if memory serves, they put her body in the Octarine Mausoleum. Don't know how she ended up in such an exclusive establishment, but that's how I heard it.
That doesn't sound very likely.
You did ask.
Okay. Ta. Okay.
Catch you later, Nobby.
Oh! I thought that was the disc. Like the Globe Theatre. Apparently it's a mausoleum.
The Salaci Family Mausoleum.
That's a big mausoleum. Hello. Welcome, Kibitz.
The Salaci Family Mausoleum was one of the most beautiful buildings I'd ever seen, nestled in an upmarket part of the city of Ankh. It was unguarded because, quite frankly, no one in their right mind would do anything to offend the Salaci family, given their ties to the Assassin's Guild. It wasn't just something that wasn't done, it was also something that wasn't survived.
Yeah, now that I think about it, Salaci is... got something to do with the Assassin's Guild. I can't remember what, though. Anyway. Looking around suitably noir music. Yeah, this is all very thematically appropriate.
The central atrium
Well
of the
done, I like
mausoleum opened up so that you could see the sky. I guess on some nights it must have been quite a beautiful sight. But this wasn't one of those nights.
I'm surprised you can see stars up there.
The Salaci family mausoleum was full of tombs. More chambers, annexes, vaults, sepulchres, and catacombs than a thesaurus.
Why would she be buried here?
I tried to find Therma's grave, but it was a waste of time.
Don't have names on them?
You'd need to be an expert in heraldry or genealogy to even begin to navigate around it.
Okay.
I'll say this for the nobility. They keep their dead well indexed.
Okay. We'll have to find someone who knows more about this place.
I like the sky as much as the next man, but it wasn't exactly something I could pick up and put in my pocket. I tried to find Therma's grave, but it was a waste of time.
I tried to pick up the tombs. Just funny dialogue. Haha.
You'd need to be an expert in heraldry or genealogy to even begin to navigate around it. I'll say this for the nobility. They keep their dead well indexed. The archway led out onto the streets of Ankh.
Okay. Okay. Where would we go to? Maybe Rodan would have something to do with that. He is a sculptor. Maybe he made the mausoleums. Though I doubt he'd be able to remember it.
Do I know you?
Here we go again. Can you tell me anything about the Salaci Mausoleum?
The mausoleum. The place where the Salaci family bury their dead. The site of burial. The center of internment. The dominant plane, clearly indicated, form directed towards you, all life surging from a center, expanding from within outwards.
Can you tell me anything about the mausoleum?
No, sorry.
Okay then. Never mind.
I guess you'd better get back to your work. Hello again, Malachite. No, don't say anything. I know how... Do you know anything about the Salaci Mausoleum? Hello? Hello? Maybe this is a time to take no reply for an answer.
Okay.
Always a pleasure talking at you, Malachite.
Go ask Dobby about it again.
Hello again.
Hello.
You wouldn't happen to know your way around the Salaci family mausoleum by any chance?
Give me a break, Lewton. I don't know everything.
Fine.
Catch you later, Nobby. Like measles, maybe. Or athlete's foot.
Okay. Like, who would know more about that? The vampire in here, maybe?
I decided not.
Okay. No one over there.
Hello again.
Oh, I didn't want to talk to you. But...
I didn't want to get caught putting the crowbar back.
Am I sure I can't do anything over here? No. Okay. We have the wolf. But I don't see how they'd be more useful.
I'm back.
So I can see.
Heard of a troll singer named Madame Lodestone?
Sooner or later, you're gonna get tired of me telling you to talk to Sapphire.
You wouldn't happen to know your way around the Salachi family mausoleum by any chance?
Nope.
Everyone is so helpful in this game. I guess I have to wait for her to stop singing.
There was nothing I could do with the stage.
Is she going to stop singing?
Good to see you again, Sapphire.
Feelings neutral, I'm sure.
You wouldn't happen to know.
Wouldn't know when.
Okay.
So Therma performed.
Who are you, the narrator? I told you that.
Have you heard of a troll singer named Therma? She used to work here.
A troll.
What's...
Yep.
Try.
Yep.
She, her house on Talos. Rumors say she. That's what.
That's the...
That.
No, where she...
Sapphire don't know.
Madame...
Sure.
Okay. It's all stuff which we'd heard before. I'm pretty sure I asked you
gave
about
Sapphire Mundy's...
Don't bring no. We get lots of humans through here, and they all look the same to me.
Do you know anything about the Milka?
As to me.
this. Yeah.
What's the connection between Malachite and Therma?
How would Sapphire know? Ask him yourself. Oh, but don't tell
Why not?
you.
He's not above...
He's
I didn't...
right. It make them. That make.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Can I ask you about, like...
I'm back.
Mundy?
I gave Mencken Mundy's description and asked if he'd seen him. He told me that he hadn't. Maybe I could trust him. A half-elf.
Yeah. Okay.
Until...
We did get a new place on here, did we? Does look like it. I didn't get anything from here, so let's keep asking Rodan about
again.
things. It could take a while.
Do you know anything about a man named Mundy?
Yeah, where do I know that name from?
It wasn't hard to lose patience with Rodan. Every day, Do you know anything about the Milka?
Ooh. That's familiar.
Rodan wasn't good at remembering details like his name or my name or what year it was.
The game hinting something to me. I'm gonna keep asking him.
Do you know anyone named Therma?
Yeah.
It wasn't every... Have you heard of a troll named Madame Lodestone?
Madame Lodestone, the fount of all relief. Relief, relief to be observed and not outlined. Relief tours determination. That's the main thing. To hope, tremble, to be drunk. It's a man's life in the Imperial Artists.
You're not making any sense.
Sorry.
Good.
You wouldn't happen to know anything about the recent murders, would you?
Oh, murders. Yes.
Murders. When people are killed.
No. Don't know anything about that. Sorry.
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
But I doubt she gave us her real name.
Yeah.
It wasn't every day.
Okay.
I guess you better. Hello again. No, What do you know about Malachite was as talkative as a corpse and only slightly more attractive? What do you know about a dwarf named Alkali? Malachite... He wasn't likely... Frankly, it was looking like... It'd be really useful if you could tell me something about Therma that I could use to find her.
Therma. Find Therma.
Yes, but I need...
Find...
Malachite, but he... I hate to be the bearer of her house. She's been... Are you going to... The bot?
Fine.
Oh, no problem. Shh.
Hold on.
It'd be really
Okay, that's just the same topic under two different
but
areas.
Fine.
Malachite,
I
but
just wanted to check whether it was like a different angle.
Do you know anything about the Salachi Mausoleum? Hello? Hello? Maybe this...
Okay.
Always a...
I guess I could just grill everyone I have available to talk to about things. Including you.
Hello again.
Hello yourself.
Do you know a troll by the name of Malachite?
There no one I know.
Do you know anyone named Therma?
There no one I know.
Have you heard of a singer named Madame Lodestone?
There no one I know.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
You wouldn't happen to know your way around the Salachi family mausoleum by any chance?
I'm afraid I can't really help you with that.
The Milka looks like a good ship.
You know nothing about ships, do you? She looks like exactly what she is. A run-down tramp schooner with no future.
Any chance I could look around her anyway?
All I want to do is get the cargo loaded and get out of this god's-forsaken city. I don't need people snooping around on board.
I understand you were carrying...
What's it?
I was hoping to find him.
Owes you money.
No, he's an...
We've asked him about this,
You
but I
must
just want
think
to be
I'm as
reminded.
drunk as I look. Well, what did you want to...
Where is he now?
I've no idea. We picked him up in Sort a couple of weeks ago and we brought him here. That's about all I want to know about him.
Did he say what he was coming to Ankh-Morpork for?
I think he said he was meeting someone.
Who?
I can
Also, I
barely
see you
remember
can't
my
see the
own name,
vampire in
let
the
alone
background
something
over
I
there.
overheard through a
Sam.
doorway last week.
Okay.
I'll There was no...
Yeah, I can't.
The golem was loading wine barrels onto the cart, calmly and diligently. I would have pitied it, but there didn't seem much point. It was just magically animated clay. You can't go around jimmying every door open just because you can. Besides, I liked some ale, and I drew the line at breaking into the cafe's wine cellar without his permission.
Oh, he owns the place? Okay then.
I'd pulled the label out of the flotsam in the bilge water of the Milka.
This label wouldn't happen to be the scroll which goes inside of the head of a golem, would it? The golems in Discworld, like in the Jewish mythology, they're powered by words put on scrolls inside their head. Is it truth which is written inside their head in real mythology? I think in Discworld they can have other things put into other words put into their heads, which can give them like other directives, kind of. It's been a while since I've read Feet of Clay. They've kind of got a degree of, self-determination and, like, personal wants. But they can't talk. They're not recognized as being living creatures. Because they are created. And they do tasks as directed until they're told to stop doing it. So they're kind of like robots in that way. But in Feet of Clay, if you read that, you'll see they do some things for themselves. Guess I could ask you.
Still here?
Not for much.
Okay.
This is the Milka, isn't it?
What? What? Sorry?
This is the Milka, isn't it?
That's what it says on the prow.
Is that just a joke? bringing it up on my map.
Was there a man named...
It's funny you should ask that.
Who was the...
A dwarf. I don't...
What about Mundy? What was he?
I don't... But for a man who came on board pretty... Not that I blame him. Something was...
Do you know where he...
Mundy? No. Look.
Unless you actually look through their luggage after they've been washed over the side.
Hey, what are you inferring?
I'm not inferring any... I'm
If I had, I certainly...
Which either means you...
You better watch your... It's not good to make...
Don't...
Okay,
anything...
we've heard this.
Do you know a troll by the name of Malachite?
Doesn't ring any bells, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Do you know anyone named Therma?
Doesn't ring any bells, I'm afraid.
Have you heard of a singer named Madame Lodestone?
Doesn't ring any bells, I'm afraid.
You wouldn't happen to know your way around the Salachi family mausoleum by any chance?
Sorry, I wouldn't know anything about that.
Okay.
Do you know anything about the recent murders in Ankh-Morpork?
Sorry, I wouldn't know anything about that.
I guess he did just get back into the city.
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
Doesn't ring any bells, I'm afraid.
Okay. Never mind.
Well, safe voyage, if that's possible.
Yeah, I did use the crowbar to get inside the crate.
I was never going to get anywhere if I didn't learn to resist the urge to use the crowbar at every available opportunity.
It's such a handy tool, though. Can I ask him about the piece of paper which I took from the bunk room on the ship?
Still here.
Not.
I decided it wasn't a good idea to give away the fact that I'd stolen aboard his ship.
Yeah.
I decided...
Yeah, okay. Oh, maybe I could ask the captain about them.
Hello again.
Hello.
I didn't want to show Captain Jenkins anything that might give away the fact that I'd been aboard his ship. I didn't...
Okay.
Tempting as it was, I decided not...
Okay. I ask you about the piece of paper?
Hello again. Here we... Can you read this?
I really don't think I know anything about that.
Does this mean anything to you? Rodan...
No. Okay.
Tempting as it was. I guess you... Hello... No, I know... Can you read this?
Don't know nothing about that.
Does this mean anything to you? Malachite listened to what I said, but said nothing. He wasn't what you'd call the prince of repartee. Tempting as it was. I was...
Okay. Do I use the crowbar or the tubes?
I resisted the temptation to say, that doesn't work.
Okay.
What exactly was I going to do to the sky with that?
Is there more I have to do here? Like, get rid of Nobby so I can read the ledger or something? I can't go anywhere else here. I can't go up the stairs.
You could say this about Nobby. Deep down, he was a good man. Well, deep down, he was probably a man. Good might be stretching it a bit.
Hello, welcome. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, about yesterday, my internet conked out, so, hopefully it's going to behave itself tonight.
Hello again.
Hello.
How's work treating?
Not so badly. I've been busy.
Yeah.
You're doing good? Good to hear.
Do you know a dwarf?
Never heard of him.
How did you know he was male, then?
You can't trick me. Everyone knows.
Okay.
Mind you.
One of
Is it normal?
I'm going to leave.
Okay. He doesn't have anything else to say about the murders. He's the only person who said anything about that. It's very vague, so I don't think it really has much to do with anything. Maybe it will later on, but well, whatever. I've asked you about this.
You wouldn't happen to...
Give me a break.
No.
Do you know anything about a man named Mundy?
Never heard of him.
Okay.
Have you learned anything about the Milka?
Yeah, not as such, no.
You go to great lengths to conceal how little work you do, don't you?
Hey,
Can you read this?
give me a break, Lewton.
What about this?
Does this mean anything to you?
No.
Okay.
I suppressed the... I was... Tempting as it was. Catch you later, Nobby. I really wanted to ring the bell, but given that Nobby was right in front of me, it would just have wound him up.
Can I go back here? No. Okay. I'm feeling like there's an area I haven't gone to.
I'm back.
So I can see.
This seems like a nice place.
No, it doesn't. It seems like what it is.
It's... You could
Is
have
it-
that
is
on...
it?
You being apparent. You look a little.
I can't...
He said no. It would be nice if it, like, grayed out things which is actually asked people, depending on whether you just ask them about it or not.
Do you know anything about the recent murders?
Only what you're about to tell me.
You're not very helpful, are you?
Just because I don't want to help you doesn't mean I'm not helpful generically. Say, I do like your hard-boiled dialogue. How long do you boil it?
About 12 minutes from when the water begins to bubble. I gave Mencken... He told me that maybe a half... Can you read this?
Nope.
Does this mean anything to you?
A tiny piece of cardboard? It means you got far too much time on your hands.
Tempting as it was, I...
You should read all these again. You made it through the first, like, through the first 30 or so. That's a good chunk of them. I read most of them in high school. I have a number of them on my shelf here, but
Good to see you again.
I'd like to get all the rest of them.
What's...
How would ask
Okay.
him you? Oh, but don't tell
Why not?
you.
He's not above...
He's
I didn't...
right. That make you.
Yep. Also, the dialogue reappears once I go back to someone, which is a bit unhelpful.
I don't suppose...
Sure.
Do you know?
Sapphire.
Okay, so that's how you get the location, the sculptor's place.
Have you heard of... She used to... What?
Shit. Her rumors. That's why.
That's the only...
That and
Know where she's...
Sapphire don't know.
Madame...
Sure. On account of
Okay.
So Therma perform...
who are you? The narrator. I told you.
You wouldn't happen to know your way around...
Wouldn't know anything about.
Okay.
I gave...
Don't ring. We get. Ask to.
Okay. don't know anything about the murders, I'm pretty sure.
Can you read this?
As to,
Does this mean anything to you?
as to,
Nope, nope, nope. Okay.
Good to see you.
feelings
What about just no?
You've been a singer here long.
long enough.
Long.
Yep, yep, okay.
I'll be back.
Oh,
Good
hang
to
on.
see you.
Feeling
You've been a
long
enough.
long.
Tell me about yourself.
I tell you about myself in 4 words: big ideas, small results.
Why did you become a singer?
Aren't many jobs for a troll like me, and at least this one honest,
Is honesty important to you?
as much as anything else.
I'm guessing nothing much matters to you right now, Sapphire.
You catch on quick, Lewton.
What do you know about the barman?
Mankin? Not much. Know that him a bigger loser than me.
How come?
He owns this place. At least Sapphire leave if Sapphire wants to.
Why don't you leave?
Where would I go? No place on disc for a troll like me. Spend our whole lives waiting for break. Just one chance to come our way that can seize in both hands tightly. But it never come. Or if it do, we don't recognize it. So we go back to grind of job we hate. And just keep on ticking each day, one step closer to end.
Do you do children's parties?
Okay.
I'll be back. I'm back. So, this seems like it's you could have apparently look at it. Have you always owned the parrot?
No, it used to be a troll bar. I took over the place after the riots.
Did you keep any of the staff?
Sure, I kept anyone who wanted to stay, and wasn't too badly injured by the riots. But there's something about a group of rioting trolls that makes people reluctant to walk back into a place.
Or indeed unable? Did you keep any singers on the staff?
Only Sapphire.
Tell me about Sapphire.
Why don't you just talk to her yourself? Just don't bother her while she's working, alright?
It's not often I see a half-elf bartender.
Be honest. It's not often you see a half-elf.
Okay, you got me. What's the deal?
I don't like to talk about it.
I thought elves were supposed to be irrepressibly likable, so that they can get away with whatever acts of cruelty they want, like cats.
Well, I'm not an elf, alright?
That's the problem, isn't it? Everyone can see that you've got elf blood in you, but you've got none of the advantages. All you get is people's prejudice.
I don't like your manner.
I'm not selling it.
Okay.
Until later.
I have to remember to do small talk to people because it opens up more dialogue options rather than just going straight to
Hello again.
straight to the questions from my information booklet.
Here. So you're a sculptor.
Yeah,
Why do
Okay.
I guess...
No other topics with him.
Hello again. No, I know how... So how you... Okay, this where you stay. I guess... Heard any... How many... Want me to give you a clue?
I don't get anything with you. Okay. And I asked all about that.
Do you know anything about the Salachi Mausoleum? Hello? Maybe...
Yeah. Okay.
Always... I could hardly... Sapient pair. It's a night.
Do I have a snooze or something? Have a think on it.
I'd purchased the with C. I'll on the down someday. I think we could safely say that the door to a lot of strange things and some missed.
I might actually have to look up a walkthrough.
Hello again.
Hello.
How's work?
Oh, I've been busy.
Yeah. Like or
I feel like I've asked everyone about everything, but I mustn't have because I'm missing something. There's nowhere else I can have a look around here, is there?
the Salachi family.
And then if I try to look around them, he doesn't find anything. We need to find a place where we could find out information about them. But I don't know where I would do that. Is there anything else outside here? Because it puts me on the street here. I can't go inside any of the other buildings.
The main doors to the Cafe Ankh without. I couldn't imagine who would pay attention. Eat at Harga's House of Ribs. All you can gobble for $1. Menu available. Famous wherever huge appetites gather and mountainous stomachs rumble. The amazing panacea that cures all known ills. Cut me own throat dibblers, genuine authentic soggy Mountain Dew. Guaranteed to cure all problems or your money back. Ah, there's some small print. Guarantee will not be honored. Come and see the greatest historical tragedy ever told. Antilogy and Cleffatara, Whell's masterpiece as 'twas meant to be performed by actors. Eat that hard.
Okay. I did that anywhere new on the map, did it? No. I can't talk to you.
Something told me I wasn't going. The sailor was.
Why can I look at the bollard?
I didn't think the bollards were that important. What did I need bollards for? It wasn't like I could move them anyway.
Tear them out of the ground. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to look up what to do. Let me have a moment. Okay. Wait, hang on. Okay, good to know. There wasn't anything I missed on the ship. Okay. I kind of see what I need to do.
Still here.
Not for much longer.
When do you sail?
As soon as...
How much is...
Where are you looking?
I don't... Sort.
We've just... It'll be a long...
Did you bring it?
Sure. We always... They pay their way and... Of course...
What were the passengers on the last voyage like?
There were 3 of them. One of them seemed all right, but the other 2... I don't know about them. There was something strange about them.
Okay, this is something I missed. Sacrifices.
Do you sacrifice passengers often?
No. The captain doesn't like it. He says it's bad for business. I said that we were advertising ourselves as offering an exciting tour of the Circle C. But he pointed out that most people would expect the tour to be above the water. If I'd had my way, we'd have thrown some people off the last voyage.
Bad omens?
The whole crew had a bad feeling of dread from the moment we set off.
Looking at the state of the ship, that doesn't come as a surprise.
Try to glass-bottomed ships.
What was strange about these passengers?
I don't know. One of them seemed kind of foreign. I mean, more foreign than most.
Okay.
What was strange?
I don't know. One of them's I mean, more...
Nothing more than that? Okay. Right. Well, that's the topic we needed. Also, we should apparently ask people about things a few times.
Hello again.
In the same dialogue.
Hello.
Sometimes they might have more to say on the topic, which is... Right, that's a bit frustrating, but okay.
Have you ever heard of a trawl but...
Madam Lowe? No, there's a...
You know.
Well, but I've heard she died in some...
A miss...
Whatever. Anyway, I don't know how she ended up.
That doesn't...
You did that.
Right, that's how we get the mausoleum.
Have...
Okay, that's just the same dial.
You... But she... Whatever. Anyway, I don't know.
That...
You did.
The walkthrough wasn't... I wasn't sure whether the walkthrough meant talk about these 2 topics both twice, or just one of them twice. The other one we need to ask about is mysterious passengers.
Do you know anything about some passengers that came into town by ship a few days ago?
That's not much to go on.
You're a corporal in the watch. You're supposed to have a keen, insightful mind.
They brought that regulation in after I joined.
Oh, come on.
Do you know anything about some
That's not...
You're a corp...
They brought...
Well, it said ask him about that twice, but...
You know...
But I've heard she died in... Whatever. Anyway, I don't know how she...
That does...
You did ask.
How's work? Not, I'll be... Yeah.
Maybe I should ask the captain? So someone might have appeared.
Hello again.
Hello.
On your last voyage, there were 3 passengers, right? Mundy and 2 others.
You tell me. You seem to know more about my ship than I do.
I just want to know what you can remember about them.
I remember that we picked them up in Ecclepon, and I know they had a lot of cargo. Oh, and one was a woman, and one was a man, I think.
You think he was a man?
There was something particularly foreign about him. I'm not sure what.
Where's Ecclepon?
Up near the hub. God's forsaken place. All there is to do there is drink and eat fish sandwiches with no tops on.
Sounds like a long way from the Circle C.
We got lost, all right. It's easy to mix up port and starboard when you've drunk too much port.
Are they still on board?
Nope. We dropped them in Ankh-Morpork. And before you ask, I have no idea what they were doing here. That's not my business.
I was beginning to realize that Captain Jenkins only had 2 questions to ask his passengers. Where are you going? And how much money have you got?
I'm impressed that they managed apparently to get the ship that far inland. They were really drunk. Okay then. Is there someone over here? No. Okay. Right, having a bit more information, let's go ask Nobby about it again.
Hello again. Hello. I don't suppose you've investigated the passengers on the Milka, have you? Of course I have. Sorry, but you're not the most, diligent of investigators. I work as hard as any man of my rank. You're the only man of your rank. There's 3 dwarfs, 2 troll, a woman and a zombie with the same rank as you, but you're the only human male. I know you're human because you carry a bit of paper to prove it, signed by the midwife. The maleness, I'll take that on trust. Do you want me to help you or not? What have you got? Well, I interviewed one of the passengers. What did you learn? That's official watch business. You didn't learn anything, did you? Not as such, no. Any chance I could interview this passenger? I don't see why not. She's down in the Cafe Ankh now. Well, that's something, I guess.
Thank you. Okay. It's like pulling teeth. Eesh.
Catch you later, Nobby.
He just happens to be there right now, even though we were just there. My cursor! My cursor's gone. Hold on a moment.
Can't recall if the whiskey knocked you flat.
I thought I told Ilsa.
Oh.
I thought I would never see her again. I prayed that I'd never see her again. But either the gods didn't listen, or they were having a laugh at my expense. Knowing the gods of the Discworld, I had a pretty good idea which.
Okay, he was
Play it
complaining about
again,
the song.
Sam.
He was playing the song, sorry.
You know what? No one's ever going to believe you said that. Hello, Ilsa. How long's it been?
Too long.
That's a scary
That's
face.
funny. I was thinking that it wasn't long
Out of
enough.
some bunch of
Aren't you
scary
pleased to
faces.
see me?
Sure. Like a jellyfish praying for the tide to come in.
What's that supposed to mean?
If I always knew what I meant, I'd be a genius.
Back then, you always knew what to say.
I still know what to say. I just choose not to.
You're getting a big kick out of making me feel cheap, aren't you? Well, maybe I had it coming.
Hey, don't take my side. You'll take all the fun out of it. I spent years rehearsing what I'd say if I saw you again. What I'd ask you. I tried to imagine what you'd say.
But now I'm here. You can't think of anything to say?
Now you're here, and I just want to slap you. Just once. across the cheek.
What will that prove?
That I still haven't forgiven you.
You're not making this easy, Lewton.
Did you think I would? Did you think I'd just come bouncing up to you like a trained puppy? Maybe I'd wag my tail and wait for you to throw me a stick. Well, I'm never going to be another woman's dog for as long as I live.
That's cruel.
Not as cruel as the day you left me. What made you ask for that song?
I was feeling sentimental.
It's good to know that you still remember me.
How could I forget?
I don't know. But you managed to leave. I figured you'd probably manage to forget as well.
Never.
I tried to forget you. I tried to forget the day you left. I tried to forget the good times. I tried to drown your memory in cheap whiskey.
And did you forget?
I don't remember.
I still remember you. That's what the song means to me. It's everything that's good about our time together.
You got lucky, Ilsa. You got all the good memories, and I got all the bad.
It didn't have to be like that.
It's always like that. I suppose you have some explanation for what you did. Some pat excuse that'll make everything all right.
There's no excuse for what I did.
At least we agree on one thing.
Why do you hate me so much?
Because I had everything when I had you. And when you left, you took everything with you. It's easy to hate someone who took it all away from you.
It hurts to hear you talk like this.
Good.
Okay. Hey, questions time. Question times.
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
I've not met them. Sorry.
Okay.
What do you know about a dwarf named Alkali?
I've not met them. Sorry.
Do you know a troll by the name of Malachite?
I've not met them. Sorry.
Do you know anyone named Therma?
I've not met them. Sorry.
I'm beginning to see a pattern here.
So, you came in on the Milka, did you?
Yes.
Alone?
No. I came with a companion.
It figures.
What?
Women like you are never alone.
I've been alone.
You know nothing about loneliness. You know nothing about what it's like to not know why you've been abandoned. You don't know what it's like to watch your career slip away because the one thing you care about has been taken from you. You don't know what it's like to spend years going into restaurants and asking for a table for one.
You don't eat in restaurants.
Okay, but if I did, that's what I'd ask for.
Why did you ask about the Milka?
You came aboard in Ecclepon, right? With a man.
Yes. His name's Two Conkers. How did you know?
It's my job to know.
You're being paid to find out where people board ships?
No, I'm a private investigator.
Okay. Running out of space in my book.
Ilsa had told me she was traveling with a man named Two Conkers. For now, that was all I needed to know.
Is that like a reference to Two Flower? Someone from like the Agatean Empire or whatever it's called.
Have you met a man named Mundy?
Yes. There was a man named Mundy on the ship we came in on. He kept himself to himself mostly.
What can you tell me about him?
He seemed nervous.
Anything else?
I remember him going down to the cargo hold at one point. He looked really shifty, as if he was hiding something.
Is that it?
That's all I can think of.
Ilsa had told me she was traveling with a man named Two Conkers. For now, that was all I needed to know.
Okay.
Do you know...
I've not... Sorry.
You wouldn't happen to know your way around the Salachi family mausoleum by any chance?
I'm sorry, Lewton. I don't know anything about that.
Two Flower, the Discworld's first tourists. Yep. Reason you could play tourists in DCSS. Don't really know what that is. I know you can play as a tourist in NetHack. Is that a derivative of NetHack? Kind of. Okay. It's another rogue. Right. DCSS. The acronym's not... The acronym's escaping me.
Tell me one thing, Ilsa. Are you involved in these murders?
What?
The murders. They started when you arrived in town.
I can't believe that you would think such a thing. That's terrible. I mean, I know I've done some bad things, but I've never killed anyone in all my life.
Just checking.
Okay. Dungeon Call Stone Soup. Ah, yes! Yeah, I know of that. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever played a tourist in NetHack. It's one of the harder classes to play as, because you don't have weapons. You have a camera, which you use to take photos of enemies. I think to stun them briefly, and you have a credit card, which allows you to buy a whole bunch of stuff from shops. It's really difficult. You really need to know what you're doing, compared to some of the other classes, like a knight, which is a lot easier. Especially because you start off with a pet, which can do a lot of the early fighting for you. You do get a improved credit card though through your class quest. Gold credit card of Yondor or something like that, I think. Which I think has like infinite usage or something. Never got anywhere with him. Yeah, from what I understand it's like, yeah, you just really need to know what you're doing, far beyond me. I don't remember whether you start with, like, glasses as well, or something. A Hawaiian shirt as well. Actually, yeah. I think I remember. This is a segue, pardon. The Hawaiian shirt you start off with is one of the more useful items in the game because you can wear it underneath armor, so it counts as another item you can enchant, or something like that. And they're hard to get normally.
Can you read this?
Yes, it says Pier 5.
What language?
Agatean.
How do you know an obscure language like that?
Actually, Two Conkers is from the counterweight continent. I learned it from him.
I thought that people weren't allowed to leave the Agatean Empire.
Oh, things have freed up these days.
I'd be careful who you tell about Two Conkers, Ilsa.
Why?
People can be funny about foreigners, and there's always been rumors about the Empire. They say they use powerful magic there. The last time one of them arrived here, the city got burned down.
Two Conkers isn't going to burn the city down.
You know that, and I know that. But the average man on the street doesn't know that. They see the unknown as a threat.
Why? Two Conkers is harmless. No one's that stupid.
Let me let you in on a little-known secret. You know how stupid the average person is?
I think so, yes.
Well, statistically, half of them are even dumber than that.
And yep, that was all a reference to Two-Flower there. It was the last person from the Agatean Empire, which visited Ankh-Morpork, all the way back in The Color of Magic. Part of the reason for the burning down, well, the reason for the burning down of the of Ankh-Morpork was he introduced people to the concept of insurance, the idea that, oh, if my place burned down, I could be paid for it. So in typical Ankh-Morporkian fashion, they burnt the place down. They burnt their own place down to take advantage of it, which burnt down the city. There's also a whole problem where the Agatean Empire uses gold coins as their method of currency, because gold is extremely common in the counterweight continent. Part of the idea is that it's on the other side of the disc, so it's smaller continent-wise than the continent which Ankh-Morpork's located on. But most of it's made of gold, so it counterweights the balance on the disc. It's kind of like an XP China. It's got a great wall, defends itself against barbarian hordes on very small horses. They go there in... not the last continent, is it? Hang on, let me have a look. I have to remember the name of the book. Interesting Times. That's the one.
I found this on the Milka. Does it mean anything to you?
A piece of cardboard with a number on it?
I think it might have something to do with Mundy.
If you've constructed murder and a giant conspiracy out of that, I'm going to be very impressed.
Not yet, but I'm working on it.
I was going to say something similar. Give me time.
Tempting as it was, I was broke.
Okay. So that means that it was probably on a crate, which came from the Octarine Empire at a Pier 5. Do you know where we can find this other person?
Ilsa had told me, for now.
Okay.
Don't go far. I might want to shout at you again.
I'm sorry, Lewton.
Not sorry enough.
I actually read on the wiki that apparently Two Flowers' name might be a bit of a joke in Rincewind mistranslating it. It seems a little bit of a stretch to me, but it could be like by Lily, and his name's Billy. I don't know if that's actually like mentioned in any of the books. Not that I've read all of them, but like it kind of makes sense. But I don't remember that ever actually being mentioned as the case. But I'd have to read the Color of Magic, and I don't have it on hand. There might be something to do with how Rincewind goes about translating at the beginning of the book, which hints at that. Also, I like that in the Just Kirby artwork, in The Color of Magic, Two Flowers is described as having 4 eyes. He has glasses on. But Josh Kirby painted it with 4 eyes, literally. Oh, here we go, Pier 5. A watchman?
The watchman had a look of mad dedication about him. It was the kind of look that could only be achieved by someone whose job was so mind-numbingly tedious that their only pleasure came from being blisteringly unhelpful to everyone who came along.
Okay, not someone I'm going to be asking too many questions.
I couldn't tell what the crates contained, and frankly, I didn't much care. The doors led into the warehouse itself, but the watchman wasn't about to let me in.
Okay. Well, we haven't confirmed that yet. Let's ask him. Maybe he'll help. He'll open the door for us. He'll be extremely helpful.
I take it you're the watchman for this warehouse.
Wow. You're sharp. People never work that out. I mean, there are so many reasons that I might want to be out here on a pier in the middle of nowhere, but you went straight to the fact that I'm a watchman. Well done.
That's a real talent you've got there. It usually takes me much longer to take a dislike for someone.
His face is very interesting. He's got like a massive eyeball.
Let me guess. Not only are you the watchman for this warehouse, but you are so bored that anyone who comes along is a target for abuse.
You're good. I'll give you that. Sharp as a pancake. What brings you here?
Research. I'm on an investigation.
You with the watch?
No, I work alone.
So you're a criminal.
This is Ankh-Morpork. We're all guilty of something.
I'm not. Pure as the driven snow.
Oh, yeah? Well, you've just directly violated the patrician's laws about groundless metaphor.
What?
Well, can you prove to me that you're as pure as snow?
Ah, but that wasn't a metaphor. That was a simile.
Because, of course, the patrician is going to be swayed by a pedantic defense like that.
I guess you have a point.
When I gave Mundy's description to the watchman, he became animated. Well, not that animated, but more animated than he had been.
That's the one. He tried to break into the warehouse the other night.
You're sure?
Or maybe I just like stringing you along for fun.
What happened?
I scared him off. I'd like to know where he is now, though. It doesn't look good to have people get away with breaking into a place like this. Bad for our reputation.
Oh, I'm sure. Because everyone respects you, and this would just put a total stop to all those dinner party invitations.
Oi, watch it.
Heard of the Milka?
Sure, put it in my coffee,
It's a ship.
Yeah, I know. Just winding you up.
Well, I'm already about as tightly wound as I'm going to get. Unless you were planning to use me as an alarm clock, I'd start thinking about being cooperative.
Where's the fun in that?
The Milka?
Oh, yeah. All I can tell you is that they unloaded their cargo here.
What was their cargo?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that. That'd be violating Watchman cargo confidentiality.
There's no such thing.
Oh, all right. I just don't want to tell you then. Satisfied?
Ecstatic.
Great. Do you know anything about trolls?
Do you know a troll by the name of Malachite?
Sorry, I don't get to socialize much with this job. It's the night work, you know.
Do you know anyone named Therma?
Sorry, it's
Have you heard of a singer named Madame Lodestone?
Sorry, it's...
You wouldn't happen to know your...
That's nothing to do with me.
Yeah. A long shot.
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
Sorry, it's...
I gave the watchman Al Kali's description. He didn't recognize it.
Okay.
Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers?
Sorry, it's...
Okay. I guess they haven't been here.
Do you know anything about the recent murders in Ankh-Morpork?
That's nothing to do with me.
Fine. Hey.
Have you seen any labels like this before?
Oh, sure.
Where?
On crates.
I have this inescapable feeling that I could try and get some useful information out of you about this, but that it wouldn't be worth the time and effort I'd have to spend on the way.
I'd go with that feeling if I were you.
Does this mean anything to you?
That's nothing.
Tempting as it was.
Beat him over the head with the crowbar, no?
I have a feeling I'll see you later.
I can't wait.
Asking a cop about a recent murders. Nothing to do with me. Well, that's good to know. Oh, there's a back area to the warehouse? I think it's just a watchman, like a private guard for the warehouse. Not part of the city watch. Yeah, the river.
The River Ankh. Probably the only river in the universe on which you could chalk the outline of a corpse. I'd already had to dive onto the Ankh once. I wasn't about to do it again.
Skylight up there.
The skylight sat on the roof, an inviting alternative entrance.
If you could get up there.
I wasn't the disk's greatest climber, and the warehouse wasn't the easiest building to scale. I was going to need some help.
Doesn't look like there's anything around here. There's a really awesome sort of weird war game that came out around the same time as this. Might have been called Nocturne. I know of a game called Nocturne, which was like a fixed camera, third person, sort of like action adventure game. You played as a guy called the Stranger or something like that. And you were hunting, like supernatural creatures as part of a government organization. Vampire Hunter Adventure game. Yeah. I watched a playthrough of that. It seems like an interesting game. One of the characters developed for it, I think called Svetlana, was a what's it called? A Dampier, and she ended up being the template which was later created into Blood Rain. I think the character, the Stranger from Nocturne, shows up in one of the Blair Witch Project games made by the same company, because it involves one of the same characters from Nocturne. They sort of tie them together. Yeah, it's like a really interesting thread between these games. So who did I watch the playthrough of that? I think it was... Hold on. There's a YouTuber I watched who did a playthrough. Let me just go check that. Yes. Okay, so there's a YouTuber who has a channel. They go by Crowley9, and they did a playthrough of Nocturne and the 3 Blair Witch Project sort of action adventure games a number of years ago. I don't think they do anything now. Not for a while. But yeah. Oh, I'll post a link to it. Let me just get a link to Nocturne. I rather like his videos. He did a good job. It's shame it's not doing anything now. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Oh, no. There you go. Played a bit of one of the videos. Oh, people can find it. I'll just give a link to his channel. There you go. YouTube's also play. But yeah, it's Carly9. I liked it. It's like, it did quite a few videos on games which I really didn't know too much about. Captain Blood was another one, and Commander Blood, which is a really weird French game. Very interesting. Like, going around the universe, trying to go find the big way to get through wormholes to the Big Bang or something like that. Various Elvira games. RoboCop 3, which was like a really early third-person game, which had also a first-person game, which had driving in it as well. The Dusk Till Dawn game. But yeah, some interesting games which I hadn't seen before. Never heard of either. RoboCop 3 sucked. It didn't look like a very good game. RoboCop had a rather poor, what's it called? Rather poor track record with the games until the recent one, my understanding.
If it wasn't for the watchman, I could probably get in through the doors. As it was, I needed another plan.
Okay. Hey, Dobby, can you help me get a pass to go in here?
Hello again.
Hello.
Plan B from outer space. Yeah, like, I think the RoboCop game most people think of is that 3D one, which was it made by Titus? Oh, I forget the other company's name. A pinnacle of gaming entertainment. Well, that wasn't Titus, that was another company. But, it was all first person. You healed yourself by getting baby food, and it was just like a constant bombardment of people attacking you the whole time. And it was very janky. I think he did a playthrough of that as well.
It didn't seem worth asking about that.
Okay. Just not going to bother.
Any word on these murders?
Nothing yet, but a top in... Yeah, boy.
Never. Just a thought.
Okay. Okay. Never mind. Maybe we could talk to Ilsa about it?
You came back.
I'm not staying. Ilsa had told for now.
No, I can't really ask about, like, hey, could you come with me to break into a warehouse? Looks like.
An old flame. Frankly, my life would have been better if she'd stayed out of it.
Okay. Hey, Malachite, would you like to help me break in? I need some
Hello
muscle.
again, Malachite. No, don't. I know. So how... Oh, this where you're staying? I heard. How many want me to give you? Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers? Malachite was as talkative as a... Still here? When I gave Ilsa and Two Conkers' description to the first mate, his eyes lit up.
That sounds like the two strangers from the last voyage. You're not with the watch, are you?
Not anymore. Why do you ask?
You just seem to have a good idea of what's going on.
And you thought that meant I was in the watch? Ha! You don't know the Ankh-Morpork watch very well, do you?
Hey, they're improving. Okay.
Well, safe if that...
Maybe I could ask the captain about them.
Hello again.
Hello.
Do the names Ilsa and Two Conkers mean anything to you?
How many names is that?
2.
Apparently not.
They were on your ship.
Ah, I see. Ask me that question again.
Do the names Ilsa and Two Conkers mean anything to you?
Yes, they were on my ship.
You're not gonna tell me anything useful, are you?
It's not looking likely, is it?
Okay. Good job.
I'm back, so I can see. Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers? I know a lot of people. That doesn't mean I want to talk about them with you.
I doubt she'd know anything. Okay.
Good to see you again, Sapphire.
Feelings.
Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers?
Sapphire no lot.
Right. Is there something around here? Like, I don't see... that I can stack anything on top of each other. Can't go further down there. I'm unsure whether I'm supposed to be like... Should I start conversations with people by engaging in small talk, and then it will give more topics if they're relevant?
What I tried.
But what?
Did maybe? Well, not.
No, doesn't look like it.
Don't go.
I'm so...
Okay. Can I talk to you? No, I don't think you're relevant.
I decided.
Yeah. Do I hide in another crate and wait for them to put them into
Still
the
here. Not from...
warehouse? But I think they've already taken all of the crates. So.
Do you?
Doesn't ring any.
I can also compare pieces of
Well, safe if that's
pieces of information in my book. So that could be something I need to do.
Mundy must have had business out of town. But what? Carlotta had... At the beginning, that was pretty much all I knew about him. There was no connection to Ilsa or to Conkers, as far as I could tell. What was the connection between Mundy and Al-Kali? Carlotta claimed Mundy was her lover. The question had to be, was she telling the truth? I found it hard to believe Malachite had anything to do with that. If there was a connection, it wasn't one I could see. Al-Kali knew about the Mundy case somehow, so he presumably knew Carlotta somehow. I found it hard. There was no It wasn't impossible that Al-Kali could have something to do with the recent murders. Why would Carlotta have anything to do with the murders? As stupid as the big dumb troll was, I couldn't see him having anything to do with a string of murders. If there was a connection, it wasn't one I could see. I refuse to believe Ilsa could have anything to do with murder. If there was a connection, it was... If there was... Were Madame Lodestone and Therma the same person? I needed to know. I knew that Madame Lodestone was buried in the mausoleum, which meant if Therma was Madame Lodestone, she was buried there. Apparently, Therma's stage name had been Madame Lodestone. Strange that Malachite hadn't mentioned that to me. What was the connection between Malachite and Therma? I knew that Madame... I needed... What did that have to do with Mundy? Probably nothing. I can't really... At the start, all I... The big troll had come up to me out of nowhere and asked me to find Therma. He certainly wasn't the brightest troll I'd met. At the start, all I knew about the mysterious Therma was that Malachite wanted me to find her, and that she used to sing at the Octarine Parrot.
Okay.
Beyond the obvious, I don't think that had anything to do with the Milka. What did that have to... Probably nothing.
Right.
I've got a few more.
That's lucky.
So he said Mundy tried to break into the warehouse. The milker has their supplies in here. Doesn't know anything about anything else. No, I've asked him about that.
Where?
On...
I have...
Yeah, okay.
I was never going to get anywhere. I couldn't tell what...
Black crowbar. Use crowbar on skylight. Scale wall using crowbar. It's not that far up. If I had a length of rope, I could make a grappling hook out of it.
The crowbar would undoubtedly be useful in opening the skylight, but I had to get up there first.
Yes. I don't see any rope down here. There's a rope there. There's a rope here. And one here. Oh! Okay, that just leads to the warehouses. Interesting.
Hello again.
Hello.
How's work?
I'll be...
Yeah.
I tried to ask you about that.
It didn't...
Yeah, nothing.
Do you know a
Never.
How did
You can't. Everyone knows.
Oh,
Mind you.
one of...
Is it...
I'm going to leave...
Hmm.
Have you heard of a singer called Therma?
Never heard of her.
Do you know anything?
Never heard of her.
Have you learned anything about the Milka?
Yeah, not as such, no.
You go to great...
Hey!
You wouldn't happen to know your way around...
Give me a break.
I've asked you about that.
Any word on these murders?
Nothing yet, but I'll top in.
Yeah, okay.
Never mind. Just...
Nothing else here. Oh, there's a note on the floor.
The note had been pushed under my door by Carlotta.
Lewton, I am anxious to see you again and to find out how the case is going. Come to the von Uberwald mansion on Moon Pond Lane. Carlotta von Uberwald.
So, Carlotta was a member of the von Uberwalds, one of the richest and most reclusive families in Ankh-Morpork. That explained why she could afford to offer to pay me so much. It didn't explain why she hadn't got around to paying me yet, but I could wait, at least until the rent was due.
Right. Say, how's the investigation going? Well, it'd be going more if you paid me. There it is.
The von Uberwald Mansion.
Fancy.
I already had a bad feeling about the Mundy case. But learning that my employer was a von Uberwald didn't fill me with confidence. I didn't know the facts about the von Uberwalds, but the rumors were bad enough.
May I help you, sir?
You could let me in for a start.
Very good, sir.
And don't call me sir.
As you wish, sir. May I take your coat and hat, sir?
Thanks, but no. I feel naked without them.
That must make it difficult to clean them.
Was that a joke?
I never joke, sir. It's not my job. I may lie, dissemble, or deceive, but I never joke.
Look, I don't want you to take my coat, okay?
But of course, sir. Sir is welcome to drip all over the immaculate hardwood floor that I spent several hours polishing this morning, because Sir is a guest, and Sir is entitled to do whatever Sir wishes.
Nice house.
Sir's taste in architecture must be quite exquisite to so accurately summarize the many splendid cornices and archaic stained-glass frescoes of this splendid Lorenzian building as nice.
You have a gift for making people feel welcome, don't you?
One is blessed.
Hello. I'm going to ask you about a whole bunch of different things now. Prepare yourself.
Do you know anything about a man named Mundy?
Regrettably, sir, I know nothing about that person.
Do you know anything about the Milka?
I'm sorry. I cannot assist, sir, in that matter.
I mean, if you're a good butler, you wouldn't tell me. Because it could compromise your master or, madam. Yeah.
I'll be back. I bet you can't wait.
Indeed, sir. My anticipation is almost tangible.
Go and polish that floor, will you?
Oh.
Hello?
I take it, sir.
No.
Very good, sir. Please feel free to continue to damage the priceless hardwood floor.
Okay, I guess I have to show you the note I got. Pardon. I just go in, ask the questions, leave. I thought it was implied I was going to go further in.
The invitation read,
Lewton, I am Carlotta.
I have an invitation from Carlotta.
Ah, Sir is as quick to reach the point of Sir's visit as a tortoise with a war wound is in crossing a very large
I had something to
desert.
do. I had to just...
I will fetch Mistress Carlotta for Sir, provided Sir would be so kind as to wait here and not to touch the valuable and irreplaceable furniture that adorns the room Sir is currently dripping on.
I'll see what I can do.
Put some kind of mat down in front of the door? Though I guess usually people would take their clothes off first.
The painting bore a striking resemblance to Carlotta.
The Duchess Charlotte von Uberwald, née Leopoldine. My predecessor, in a sense.
Oh? Are you a duchess?
No, but the resemblance is impressive, isn't it? My husband was struck by it from the moment I met him.
Where is your husband?
Dear Ulrich passed away during a civil uprising in Uberwald several years ago. Quite a terrible business, actually. Peasants, pitchforks, burning torches, the usual sort of thing.
Usual?
For Uberwald, certainly. Their ways may seem barbaric, but it's just the way things have always been done. If there wasn't a civil uprising every few years, I do believe the nobility would be most disappointed. Dying at the hands of a mob in a burning castle is practically traditional.
Tradition important to you, is it?
Ever the investigator, eh, Lewton? Even your employer isn't beyond suspicion.
My old boss used to say that everyone was guilty of something.
And what are you guilty of?
Too many things, sweetie, but nothing you need to know about.
So does that mean that they're vampires?
You wanted to know how the case was going.
A girl's got to have hobbies.
I think I'm getting somewhere.
We're all getting somewhere, Lewton. The question is, am I going to like where you're going?
I guess we'll just have to find that out the old-fashioned way.
That's me, an old-fashioned girl.
Like the girl in the picture.
The Duchess? She was quite a trendsetter in her era. She wore her dress so high, you could almost see her ankles.
My heart is pounding at the thought. So what's the story with you and Ulrich?
Do you believe in love at first sight, Lewton?
It saves a lot of time, certainly.
Ulrich fell for me the moment we met. I guess seeing that painting every day probably helped.
Don't sell yourself short. You have a few assets of your own. I'm sure it was an equitable transaction.
You think I married him for his money?
Did you?
Let me tell you something, Lewton. I've been rich and I've been poor. Rich is better.
Did you love him?
Does it matter?
It matters to me.
Maybe I did. I guess it depends on what love is.
Love is a moment of weakness that allows someone to hurt you more than you ever thought possible. Men were given the strength to be brutes to women, and women were given love to wreak their revenge.
Who was she, Lewton?
Who?
The one who left you with such a high opinion of women. She must have been quite a gal.
I don't have much to tell you about the case, I'm afraid.
You still haven't found Mundy?
Not yet. I might do a better job if I had more money at my disposal.
Ah, yes, of course. You haven't been paid yet.
Well, it had crossed my mind.
I'm sure I could sort something out.
I didn't doubt that she could. The question was, would she? And more to the point, when would she?
Also, maybe a better description. Tall, brown hair, and something about maybe his eyes isn't really a description to go by.
What can you tell me about the Duchess?
The Duchess Charlotte von Ubald. Born Charlotte Ameliorati Victoire Tangerine Leopoldine, she married the Duke when she was 13, which was the style at the time. She was considered a risque dilettante by most of the nobility of Ubald, and rumors abounded that she caused the heart attack that killed the Marquis of Grand Mal when she showed him her naked knees. Her corset was said to be so tight that her first pregnancy went into extra time, and her first and only son had learned his first word by the time he was born.
You're pretty good on this family history business, then.
I dabble.
Okay, then.
Tell me again about Mundy.
What's to tell? I've told you all you need to know.
Do you know anything about the Milka?
Let's try not to get too sidetracked, Lewton.
Do you know a big, dumb troll called Malachite?
I thought all trolls were big and dumb.
This one pushes new boundaries. Do you know him or not?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Do you know anyone named Therma?
Sorry, Lewton. I've never heard of them.
Have you heard of a singer named Madame Lodestone?
Sorry, Lewton. I've never heard of them.
I need your help.
I'm not hard to get, Lewton. All you have to do is ask.
I need your knowledge. I need to find a particular tomb in the Salaci Mausoleum, but I don't know enough about genealogy. You do.
The Salaci Mausoleum? That could be trouble.
Don't worry. I'm not going to mess with the tombs. I know better than to offend a family whose ties with the Assassin's Guild go back to its very foundation. I just want to see if someone's buried there.
Who's the stiff?
A troll named Therma.
A dead troll? You don't get much stiffer than that, I suppose.
Will you help me or not?
Of course, although I'm not really properly dressed for a mausoleum. You don't mind waiting while I get changed?
It's not like Therma's going anywhere.
If Sarah is not too busy, the master of the house wishes a word with you.
And if I am too busy?
The master of the house still wishes a word with you, and I shall be forced to beg.
That sounds like it could be fun.
Did I say beg, sir? I meant resort to violence.
In which case, lead the way.
Okay.
Mr. Lewton,
Ah, Major.
As I understand it, my daughter-in-law has retained you to investigate a certain matter for her.
That's correct.
Then I take it you will be a frequent visitor to my house.
It seems likely.
Do you know who I am?
I know that they call you the Count.
Do you know why they call me the Count? Because I am a Count. Count Henning von Ubewald. One of the Blintz von Ubewalds, I ought to add, because frankly, Ubewald had an uncountable number of counts, and I'm trapped in Ankh-Morpork at the moment because my current infirmity prohibits me from leaving this room.
That doesn't explain why you wanted to see me.
I wish to know what my daughter-in-law has you investigating.
That's between me and her.
No, Mr. Lewton. I rather suspect it isn't. You see, Carlotta's hands are not on the von Ubewald purse strings, but mine are.
So you're saying I won't get paid unless I tell you what I'm doing?
No, I'm implying that. Whether or not you actually get paid is a different issue.
What's it to you?
I get very bored. I'm interested as to what goes on around me.
All right. I'm tracking someone for her.
Someone who is missing?
That's right. A man named Mundy.
Oh, I see. Very well. If you keep me informed on the progress of the case periodically, I will ensure that you receive payment.
Okay. Dude's dress is exceptionally daring. Yeah. If he's so infirm, I'd have thought he'd be wearing pants. Oh well.
So if I keep you informed on how the Mundy case is going, you'll ensure that I get paid?
As much as it is in my power to do so, yes.
And what if I mention this to Carlotta? Maybe she's got the money from other sources and doesn't need the family money.
A possibility. Very well. I'll offer to pay you irrespective of whether Carlotta pays you herself.
That seems a little unethical. I'd be betraying the trust of a client.
I'll pay you twice your usual fees.
Well, what do you know? Suddenly I've resolved all my ethical dilemmas.
Ethics are a salve for the poor, Lewton.
I am the poor.
You sound as if you are proud of the fact.
The poor are often prouder than the rich. They know that what they have can't be taken away.
Why would anyone want to take their poverty away?
I didn't say the poor were smart. I said they were proud. You said you have to stay in the conservatory. Why?
I'm not a well man, Mr. Lewton. It is hard to say how long I have for this world, or indeed if the next world will take me.
What's so special about the conservatory?
Ankh-Morpork is too hot and humid for my tastes. I had the conservatory built especially. It's colder than the rest of the house. I keep it at the temperature I feel most comfortable with.
Why so cold?
You ask too many questions.
I'm an investigator. It's my job.
Well, be thankful that I find your impertinence charming, or else I might be forced to teach you a lesson.
In your condition?
You would be surprised at just what I can do in my condition, Mr. Lewton.
Okay. I have more to ask.
I'll be back later.
Unfortunately, I might
Now
have to
let's
call us
get
here
this
for
straight.
tonight.
We're looking for a troll named Therma.
As far as I know, yes, but she may be in here under the name Madame Lodestone.
Okay, then we can rule out the Fornix Sanguis Ceruleus.
What? Does there have to be one?
The Blue Blood Vault. We can probably eliminate the heroic decapitated war veterans vault. And the thoroughbred pet vault. Do you know what relation this troll had to the Selaci family? She wouldn't be buried here if she wasn't.
Well, your guess is as good as mine. It took Carlotta a while to work it out, but we eventually found a Madame Lodestone in the Fornix Famulus, the servitor's vault. Guess she used to keep the floors real clean or something.
Here we are. Madame Lodestone.
There's an inscription. Madame Lodestone, singer and retainer of Lord Robert Salachi, taken from us when her house collapsed, returning her to the rubble from whence she came. Not much of an epitaph. Still, it's more than I expect mine will say. I'll probably end up with whatever's written on the cement bag round my feet. Carlotta? Carlotta? She disappeared without even a word. I couldn't work that woman out. Still, she'd found me the tomb, which left me trying to decide whether or not to tell Malachite.
Okay. Though, as I said, I think I'm going to have to call it there for tonight. And we'll continue with this next time. Sorry for the short time. But, yeah. It's hot. And things are going on, so I haven't had too much sleep. Apologies. We'll try to have a longer session next time. So, I'll thank you very much for joining, and I hope you join me again next time.